All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. How we doing? How are you feeling? Hopefully, you're feeling good. I know I am. I'm always feeling good because I'm with you guys. For some reason, chat doesn't want to appear on screen. I don't know why. We'll work with it, though. Maybe. Nope. Okay. I guess it's not gonna work. Yay, YouTube! Yay! You gotta love it when YouTube just doesn't work for some reason. That's odd. Anyway, hi everybody. How we doing? How we feeling? So the podcast is now on Thursday. No, the only reason we did the podcast on Thursday yesterday was because I had to crunch to get that Alan Wake review done, because we were hoping that we could find a workaround or a fix for the hard lock we ran into. We weren't able to figure that out, so it ended up just kind of being a bit of a waste of time, but it was worth a try. It was worth the shot. Brandon. Okay. Why do you think I never show you the underside of the desk? That's why. Yeah, let's be real. The podcast is kind of whenever we get around to it. We aim for Wednesdays, but sometimes, you know, things don't line up quite that way. So it bounces around. Let's see. I don't know. Somebody just sent me a message on Twitter asking if, after seeing other people's opinions of Alan Wake, if I'm gonna change my review. No. Like, my review is based on my experience. I'm glad other people had a really good time with it. I seem to have gotten super unlucky and gotten all of the bugs for everybody else. So, like, yeah, I'm a little frustrated and burnt out on it at the moment. But no, I'm not gonna just change my opinion because I saw everybody else likes it. Like, what? You know? Let's see. Did you see the Batman 2022 skin for Arkham Knight? Yeah, they unlisted it. I guess we can touch on that real quick. Batman. Yeah, we mentioned this on the podcast, but I'll show it to you now. They accidentally, apparently, updated Batman Arkham Knight after 8 years. They updated this, and they added Robert Pattinson's Batman suit to it, and people got, like, footage of it. They actually recorded it. They have screen caps and everything of it in the game. And they ended up swiftly updating it again just hours later and wiped it out. So now you can't get it. It seems like it was a mistake. Clearly they put it in the game, but it seems like they published it too early. So the question is, was this, like, were they planning on doing this at another time? Is it for the far future? Is it something they were going to charge for and they just ended up not? Most people seem to think that it's probably going to come out with the Switch port on the 1st, and they're going to bundle it into the Epic Game Store and stuff. Joel Raptor said he thinks that it's going to be, I'll get to that in just a second, white guy, sorry. Joel Raptor said he thinks it's going to be like a perk for pre-ordering Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. If that's what they're going to do as well, that's insane. I don't think so. I think this is probably they're going to launch a free update with this and the Switch version to try to hype people up on it and do like a 50% off sale or something. I think that's what they're doing. Because they probably got some licensing deal where they're going to get, you know, some kickback from this. Maybe they charge for it. I don't know. It seems insane, though, to release a single skin for a game that's 8 years old and charge money for it. But what do I know? That white guy, thank you also real quick for the super chat. I don't actually know if I can docs, vertical sources, chat, event list, maybe. Member? No, I can't. I was going to try to send it back through for another notification. I'll just read it. Hey, Luke, just wondering on your thoughts on BG3 and if you've played it / will play it ever. If so, would you be interested in doing a critique on it? Thanks. First of all, thank you for the 10. That's stupid generous. Secondly, I have played it. Thirdly, I am planning on doing a critique of it. The game is just freakishly huge. So I'm not going to make any promises of when or like how it will appear, because it is the biggest game without a doubt that I will have ever tried to make a big critique on. So I have no idea how that's going to pan out. But now that we're done with Alan Wake, the only other thing for the rest of this year, as far as I'm aware, that I'll be reviewing is like Pandora, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And so we'll do that when the time comes. But now I'm kind of in the mode where I can start focusing on that stuff. Gemini, thank you, my friend. Thank you. We're liking it. Yeah, it's a new house. It's throwing me off. We're very spoiled. We went to go furniture shopping last night. We got some deals. Like, you know, they had the couch that was originally like $6,500 and they had it marked down to like $2,000. But like, man, I'll tell you what, new furniture is just freakishly expensive. It's just freakishly expensive. Like one time we went to a nice furniture store where everything's like handmade in America. And we're like, yo, let's see what this is like. And dude, I kid you not, one table for their dining room table set that they had that we liked, one chair for it was like $1,000. It was like $985 or something. And this table needed like 8 chairs or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, like you're going to spend a car on your dining room table? I could not fathom it. Like $2,000 for a made in China table to me is a lot. Imagine $1,000 for like the single chair in the dining room that you need 8 of. Like, it's wild to me. But part of this is like, we have only, like, we're coming out of that phase of life where we were college students. And so everything was just kind of slowly acquired and stacked on top of each other. So nothing matched. Everything was kind of falling apart. Our previous couch we got for free because when I lived with my buddy Caleb back in like 2017, 18, he had a boss who had a big couch in their office, and they wanted to get rid of it because they let their cats free roam in the office, and so the cats would scratch it up. So it was in rough shape, but we took it because it was free, and he was like, if you take it away from here and I don't have to pay to take it to the dump, you can just have it. So we took the couch, put it in our apartment, and that became like the college couch we kept there. When I moved to the next college house, we all used that couch all the time. And then after we moved out of the college house, we brought that couch with us to our next apartment, and then to our next apartment, and then to the other house. And I was like, should we really bring it to this house now too? And we both were like, I think it's time for it to go away. I think it's had a good life. I think it's had a great time, but that thing has seen some stuff. And I mean, I don't need to explain to you what goes on a college couch. A lot of it, I'm sure I don't know about, and I don't really want to know about it. So we just decided to move on. But it's weird. This house, because of how it's laid out, there's a lot more space. And like, we basically have 2 living rooms. We have like a living room and a family room. I always thought they were the same thing. Apparently they're not. I'm coming from, like, I'm not used to having this much space. So we have a living room and a family room. And so the family room is where like the big projector is. It's where the gaming stuff's going to go. And so that needs like a really comfy couch. But then the living room, that's more for like casual seating and discussions and stuff on the main floor with the kitchen and dining room and everything. And so, oh my God, I sound like such an asshole talking about this. But it's just interesting. It's very different. It's very different. Will I do a house tour? Maybe in parts. I don't think we'll do like a full house tour because I'm not really comfortable showing the whole thing. Especially I've seen what those geolocation guys can do. And I'm sure if I did the whole house tour, people would be able to figure it out, like where we are. And with 2 kids, like if it was just me living in an apartment in Denver or something, sure, figure out where I live, whatever. But with 2 kids, I'm not super comfy with that, you know? Yeah, I don't want to get sniper wolfed. Or Jack's filmed, yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they have a clip of this. I don't think so, actually. I was gonna pull up. We just watched Corpse Bride yesterday, and I was gonna pull up the bit where one of the moms is like, "Oh yes, we'll be taking tea in the west drawing room, just right this way, right through this hallway." Yeah, that's kind of what I feel now. Even though this house is like far from a mansion, to me it feels like a mansion. You know, it's just funny. Like, this is a very middle class house, and to me it feels like, you know, all of a sudden I feel like a millionaire. Love the random horse noises in the background. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Forged. What's up, my friend? What's up? Oh yeah, everybody like the stream, and I will spin my fidget spinner for you. And I'm not even joking. You can ask the rest of chat. I'll do it. I'll do it. Square foot, we're right under 3,000. $40 likes, 40 spins. I mean, I don't know if I could even count how many spins. Like, this thing can get going. Like, you see? It looks even slower in the video. Your opinion on the Star Citizen demo? We posted the stream clip because we watched like pretty much all of it, everything except the server meshing demo. So that's up on this live channel if you want to see my extended thoughts. All told, though, wildly impressive, and I think that showcases specifically for the Star Engine was crazy impressive. I think that did a better job of explaining Star Citizen to people and the scope and scale of it than anything they've ever done in the last decade. Like, that one thing with the Star Engine demo, night and day. And the little jabs they took at Starfield, the little jabs were so great. All of this is running in real time with no load screens. Like, I loved it. twist, little stab and twist, you know? Oh man. Oh yeah, something's wrong with it. I think I have that one. I don't remember which one it is.
But something's wrong with the game. Shout out to the chess club. We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
Starfield fell off so fast, it's sad. I don't know. This is where I honestly don't know if it did. To me, it feels like it did, but it's mostly because we've gotten, like, I'm playing a lot of other stuff. So it could be that it didn't fall off, and it's just because I personally moved on to other games, and the people I talked to moved on to other games, that it feels that way. But it really feels like it fell off, right? Oh, sorry, Valaha.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I'll tell you what, I still get comments regularly of people like, how can I take this guy's opinions seriously? In this Assassin's Creed video, he claims to be a fan. He just mispronounced it as Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to tell him. I'm not even going to explain it. We're just going to go with it. You know what? Some people just, you know, if you miss the ship, you miss the ship. I'm still playing Starfield. That's good. I mean, I'm going to be going back to it because I'm going to be working on a comprehensive thing. Let's see if Steam DB has any info on it. Nope, not pictures. I want to see this. Okay. So SteamDB. Zoom. Can I zoom out? Dude, Counter-Strike is still just so insane. It's ridiculous how many people play Counter-Strike. PUBG Baldur's Gate is still at 141,000. It's at 120,000 right now. I mean, so right now where Starfield is 33,000. So that would put them down. I mean, they're below the 24-hour peak for Red Dead 2. Granted, Red Dead 2 just had its 5-year anniversary, so it's kind of on people's minds. But that's it. That puts it below Elden Ring. That puts it below, whoa, really, The Forest? That many people are playing The Forest? Really? Okay. Battlefield 2042 is actually greatly outperforming it, which is hilarious. So, Stardew Valley, yeah, it's right up there. 7 Days to Die, Project Zomboid, Phasmophobia, Farming Simulator, Space War, Love is All Around. Oh my god, it's like a dating sim. They're getting beaten out by a dating sim. Oh, that hurts. That really, really hurts. That's cringe as hell. So I mean, it's a big game. What I don't know is how quickly like Fallout 4 dropped off though, or like Skyrim. And even if you could find the matching charts, I don't think it'd be that useful because gaming is so much bigger now than 2011. It's crazy to think how much it's grown, but yeah. I mean, 30,000, this is what I'm playing now. I'll put it in chat, so if you want to pull it up and listen to it later, you can. It's just a collection of Red Dead ambiance. But it's certainly lower than I was expecting. And granted, this is just on Steam. This is not including on other platforms like Xbox or the Xbox launcher. But, I mean, a lot of these other games are also on other launchers, like, you know, Apex can be launched directly through the EA launcher. It has console players. Same with GTA. Same with all of these. So, dude, I'm so bummed about City Skylines 2 as well. I'm so bummed about it. I was so excited for this, and apparently it's just an unoptimized mess. And have any of you guys been playing City Skylines 2? Have any of you? Let me know, because I want to jump into it, but I don't want to deal with another horrible PC port. And like, they said something interesting. They said, listen, it's a city simulator. You don't need more than 30 FPS. And that is technically true. You don't need more than 30 FPS to play the game and have a good time in a city simulator. Let's be honest, you don't. But if I have like a $5,000-$6,000 PC and I want to play it at 60, I should be able to do that without that much of a headache, don't you think?
Timur 72,299 super chatted $5.29.
Booyah.
Avatar, The Last Airbender, Quest for Balance video when plus do you see Embracer Group going defunct in the future?
Oh, Quest for Balance video. I haven't seen that. I can search it. I'm worried anything with like Avatar, anything, I'm worried about copyright. Because YouTube now will actively strike your video if they detect copyrighted stuff in it in real time. Which is pretty hardcore. Let's see. This is from 3 months ago? Oh, it already came out 4 weeks ago. This game. All right, this is what you're talking about? Yeah, I haven't played it. I don't know hardly anything about it. Oh no. Oh, well, IGN did not like it. Yeah, I don't really know much about it. But let's see. Did you see Embracer Group going defunct in the future? Embracer, so just so everybody is clear on this, Embracer is a very large conglomerate of studios and publishers and stuff. If you are not familiar with them at first glance, they own a ton of franchises, a ton of studios that you certainly do know. So THQ Nordic, Gearbox. You might not know these. Oh, they own the Ticket to Ride guys, really? Oh, that's funny. Dark Horse, Free Mode, Crystal Dynamics, and Eidos Montreal, Deca, Saber, Amplifier, Coffee Stain, PlayOn. They really hit it out of the park with Saints Row. I mean, they own a ton of different companies and studios and stuff. And what they did is during COVID, they negotiated with the Saudi Arabian government with their investment fund to get a deal where we were talking billions of dollars. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 billion. Saudi Arabia, Embracer Group. Yeah, it was a $2 billion deal. So a $2 billion deal where they were basically going to invest straight cash, $2 billion into Embracer Group. And then Embracer Group would in turn give them a share of profits and revenues that would come after that, like a typical investment. But this fell through, and the Saudi Arabian government, for whatever reason, or their investment fund managers, decided that Embracer Group was not a great group to go with for this investment, so they pulled out. Some people are blaming Saints Row for this because the Saints Row remake showed that they really, that the quality control was not there, and maybe that scared them off and made them go, you know what, I just don't think we can trust you with $2 billion. But the problem is Embracer had done a lot of stuff assuming they were going to get $2 billion. It's the same exact thing as in The Office when Michael thinks he's going to get like that surplus bonus check. And so he goes and buys a $600 fur coat. And he's like, lesson learned. Don't buy a fur coat with cash until you know you actually have the money. And that's what happened here. Where they went, they bought up all these studios, expanded really far and really hard. And then they lost the money. And now they're sitting with something they can't actually afford. It's like if you got a new job or got offered a new job, or you thought you were getting offered a new job. Let's just say you got offered a new job and they tell you, we're going to pay you $100,000 a year. Okay. It's like your take home is going to be what? Like $9,000, like 8,000 ish, a month. And you're like, wow, 8,000 a month. Jesus.
Alex
Alex, I'll get to that just a second, my friend. Thank you so much. But they say, we're going to give you this much money, $8,000 a month. And you're like, oh my God, I can do so much. So you go and you get a new car that has $1,000 a month payment. And then you go and you move into a new house that has a $3,000 mortgage. And you do all of this other stuff. And before you know it, you just have expanded to have like $4,000 or $5,000 in monthly expenses. And then you find out that they're backing out and you don't actually have the job. You'd be panicked. Understandably so. And you would probably try to return the car. You'd probably try to sell the house and move. Everything that you did, you try to pull back on as far as you could. And that's what Embracer Group is doing. They are trying to downsize. They're trying to back down because they did all of this stuff expecting a big influx of cash that they now don't have. And so now they're trying to cut the bloat wherever they can find it. Make sure that games and studios that are underperforming get staff cuts and only are putting out games that are actually profitable. And it's frustrating because it means a lot of people get laid off, but this is basically the same thing that happens when quality control takes a dip and customers lose confidence in those titles. They're just going to stop buying them. Like, you can't put out 5s and 6s out of 10s forever and expect people to just keep on taking it. It just doesn't work. And that's kind of where we are now, where a lot of Embracer Group stuff is just kind of at that mid-tier, even like sub-mid. It's like low tier. And as a result, a lot of people are just not super confident in their games when they're announced and when they're released. So they don't tend to perform super well. And I mean, this is what we get. So the Embracer Group stuff is crappy for everybody, but it was kind of expected to. Alex, thank you also for thank you for the 10. Boring question, but what kind of desk is that? We need a big Mondo desk with lots of room for activities and numerous half-drunk drinks. This is actually what's known as an IKEA desk. Or IKEA. I don't remember exactly how they phrased it. It's an IKEA tabletop that, or IKEA kitchen island top that you can order just off of IKEA's website. And then you can also order little legs for it. Like, this is somebody on Reddit who did it, or Imgur, whatever it is. And you see these little legs. These come, I think these are like $5-6 a piece. You screw them into the tabletop, and this might actually be, it's very close to the one I have. It looks a little warmer in color, but just like this, you get 4 or maybe 5 legs, one for the center and the back for the monitor weight support. And the tabletop is like $180. The legs are like $5-6 a piece. So all told, you're in for the desk for like $200, and it is way bigger than any other desk you could buy that's branded as a desk. It works just as well. It's just that because it's not marketed as a desk, you save like half the money or more than that, frankly. So highly, highly recommend it. Just order a kitchen island off of IKEA and then these little legs and make your own desk. It works wonders. So that's what I did. And it's magnificent. Strongly recommend. Strongly recommend. Hey man, can you explain how Star Engine is able to integrate real-time distance in various planets? I'm not the one to ask. I am not a software engineer or anything. My understanding is that it's tied to the fact that they moved to a 64-bit system for documenting like actual plots and locations within their engine's like spatial awareness system. So that's a really convoluted way of saying, instead of just being like on a sheet of graph paper, if you imagine it like that, where each planet has to sit on a vertex of that graph paper, they came in and subdivided it 20 times. So now it's much finer and they can control much more precisely where things are. So they have much more control as things scale up. That's my understanding, but I'm sure it is way, way, way more complicated than that. But I mean, it basically took years of rewriting the engine code to make that work. You know, it's like moving from 32-bit Windows to 64-bit Windows. Like, it makes one hell of a difference, but it was not easy to do. Dookie, good to see you, my friend. Love the Spider-Man 2 video and hope the fam is enjoying the new house. Oh yeah. No, it's been a very, very good fit. We are very fortunate. We are not taking it for granted. We have a handful of things still to do. Like I said at the top, we're getting our furniture delivered like Sunday. And I didn't know, like they said, do you want it delivered? And I said, yeah. I don't really want to like lug it into our little like SUV thing that we have. And like, okay, no, that's fine. It was like $200 for them to deliver. But apparently, not only do they set it up and assemble everything for you, they also take away all the trash. And I was like, oh, that's kind of awesome. That's great. So you're going to assemble it. If I have a problem with one of the pieces, they'll just take it back immediately. I don't need to pay another delivery fee to have somebody come out to take something away. So that's cool. You're going to set it up, make sure it's all in good shape, and then you're going to take the trash away? Okay. Plus, I think we'd have to probably take like 4 trips to get everything in our car. So, you know, it lined up. It lined up. Timur! Thank you for the €2, my friend. Mr. Manny Plays reviewed Avatar. Worst game of 2023? He reviewed Avatar. Oh, Avatar The Last Airbender, you mean? I feel kind of bad. Oh yeah, I see. It's offensively bad. Review. Yeah, his Retro Rebound channel's been doing really good. Good on him for that. I think his Retro Rebound actually might be getting like comparable views to his main channel now. Which is crazy. Like, it started as a little hobby passion project, but like, yeah, his main stuff might do an average of like maybe 15, 20,000 views more per video. But yeah, his second channel's doing very, very well. Good on him. And it's just like focused on retro stuff. So yeah, I feel kind of bad. We did that reaction video to his, to one of his review of Mirage. That's what it was. It was this one, and it ended up doing really well for one of our videos, like 47,000. And like, I felt really bad because a lot of the comments were kind of harsh. Like I responded to it because I felt like his review kind of missed the point in a lot of ways. Like, his frustration was that the game is exactly what he feared, and that it was like a return to all of the clunk of old school Assassin's Creed games. And it's like, but bro, that's kind of exactly what people wanted. Like, I know you don't like the clunk, you don't like that, but it's the same thing as like in Alan Wake 2, there's a lot of clunk that's kind of a holdover from the last game. Like, I'll call it out and point and poke at it just to bring it up. But that doesn't make the game bad because it still has the clunk, you know, especially because with Alan Wake 2, it's not really about the gameplay. It's about the narrative, which is fantastic. You know, it's crazy trippy. So this one, I didn't realize he had said Valhalla was one of the best in the series, but if that's true. Oh no. Oh, that hurts. Okay. I guess I had forgotten that or didn't realize that. That's freaking hilarious though. That's so funny. That's so funny. Okay. I don't want to beat up on Mr. Matty. I like Mr. Matty a lot. We've talked, we've hung out, we've collabed and stuff. And you know what, we're free to disagree on our takes, but that's one of his more bold ones, I think. It's crazy. God Emperor Sofa King, thank you for the 2. I believe Microsoft will pick up Embracer Group. I think Embracer Group is probably open to selling at this point, but I'm not sure how big of an asset Embracer Group is to them. Like, it's mostly for the IP, but most of their studios are not actually that robust. I think Microsoft would be better served going after some other developers. I think the biggest get that they could land is probably CDPR. I don't know if CDPR is open to an acquisition. I was going to say Larian, but Larian has already said that the current owner and CEO is not interested in selling, at least until he's ready to retire. So maybe in like 10, 20 years, he'll sell the company to somebody like Xbox. But I think there's other acquisitions that would be much more beneficial for Xbox than Embracer Group, personally. Because, like, what are they going to get? They'll get Gearbox, so they'll get oh crap, what's it called? Borderlands. They'll get Saints Row. But like a lot of these games, like you might get one release every 5-6 years and it might be okay. Like I just don't know if that's worth it. When is the next Assassin's Creed release? It releases in like, I mean, if you count Nexus is coming soon. That's the VR game, but the next full game is coming late next year. Late next year. Why is my chat frozen? Wet Donkey, 9 months. Ooh, baby. Thank you, my friend. Jimmy, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke, love the channel, man. Been a fan for a while. Do you ever game on that curved monitor? I do, actually. We just filmed a video last night on this thing, and it's just filthy. I mean, it looks so good. It's ridiculous. It's just stupid how beautiful it is. LG makes, in my opinion, like some of, if not the best gaming monitors on the market. The only reason we don't use this every day, because as I've said before, if I were not making videos and gaming videos, I would use the ultra wide every day. It's my preferred monitor. The problem is when we tried that and I would do like I tried videos on the ultra wide, it just ended up frustrating people because there were big black bars on the top and bottom of the video and people thought something was glitching out. People thought something was wrong. People didn't like it. So even though I like it a lot, viewers didn't love it. So, and it's all about the viewer experience, right? So in that case, I just swapped back to the 16:9 monitor, but I think LG is going to be hooking us up with a new monitor that's going to be a little insane. It's 48 inches diagonally. Talk about silly. It's ridiculous. $0 G. Thank you for the 2. I watch all your content and appreciate it much. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Just seen your YouTube short using my super chat. It made me happy. Oh, good. Yeah, anything's fair game, guys. If you're in chat, you ask questions and stuff, like you might end up in a YouTube short. You never know. Or TikTok. Because if it ends up being a YouTube short, it's also TikTok. And I would check the TikTok version of it because a lot of those pop off way more than the YouTube shorts. I know YouTube is like doubling down on YouTube shorts. I don't think that they perform anywhere near as well. Yeah, this one that just went up 4 hours ago is already at like 15,000 with your super chat. Some of these are just crazy. Like we cut this one together on Spider-Man 2 and it has like just under 800,000 views right now. Like it's insane. It's just crazy. 72,000 likes. Like what is this? My top TikTok of all time has 5.2 million views though. And it was when we were looking at that thing where a gamer found Phil Spencer in Fallout 76, which to be fair was really cool. But it's a 244 hertz in 4K. The new one or this one, the 45-inch ultra wide is a 3440 by 1440p monitor at 240 hertz. The new one, the 48-inch, is 4K, I believe it's 120 hertz. I'd have to check. I don't know. I don't have the stat sheet. Would you ever get a Tesla? I think I'd have to have a lot more money than I have now to get a Tesla. Part of it is that I'm not a car guy. Like, I don't put hardly any value in a car. I'm just not interested in it. I think, like, I'm on the pre-order list for a Cybertruck. Am I going to buy a Cybertruck? Probably not. Like, by the time they actually end up shipping it and stuff, I'll probably be in my 50s. Like, who knows? Who knows? But I think one day I could see it. The quality control worries me. A lot of the tech and gadgets and stuff is cool, and I like that stuff. But for me, it's just, if I'm going to spend that much money on a car, like, I always ask myself, whatever this monthly charge is going to be. So for like a Tesla, it could be like $1,000 a month, $1,000 a month. For me, like, that's what we spend on our healthcare plan. For me, the wife, and the two little boys. That's our health insurance. I have to pay $1,000 a month for health insurance. It's insane. And so I'm like, is it really responsible when, like, I can keep driving the car that's 7 years old right now that we drive now? I can still drive that thing just fine. It's going to make, like, no difference to me. I could see getting a second car, because we sold my I remember talking about this on stream. We sold my little Honda Accord that I bought. It was like a 2019 Honda Accord EXL. So it's like the luxury version of it. And I drove that to Denver when I was working in real estate. It was my commuter car. And man, I love that thing. That was a great car. I love that car. But at the time, it was like $550 a month. And granted, it was at a very low interest rate. So it was like, now I'd kill for that. That same car, that same loan, now with rates where they are now, would be like $900 a month or something stupid like that, I'm sure. So it's just like, at the time we sold it because we needed to get this health insurance because we were going to have a baby. And so I needed to, like, give up my car. I was working from home trying to get the YouTube channels kicking off. So I didn't really need a car. 2 cars was nice, but I didn't need a car. So we sold it and got rid of that monthly payment. And now having 2 cars would be really nice. Cause, like, right now Nikki's away with the kids. They're going to buy cat litter, and stuff at like Sam's Club or Costco or something. And like, if I wanted to finish the stream and go do something, run an errand, I have like an Amazon return to do. Like, if I wanted to do that, I just can't because I don't have a car right now. Yeah, I'm trapped. So yeah, 1K on insurance, but keep sending money overseas. Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Especially, like, I pay $1,000 a month for insurance. And I still, like, having Orion earlier this year, I think I had to pay out of pocket still like $8,000 to $9,000. And we're not even at our deductible yet. Lachlan had a little mole on his arm. He's only 2 years old, but he had this mole that his doctor, when we took him for his 2-year checkup, his doctor looked at it and was like, it's probably nothing, but to be safe, we should send you to a dermatologist. We'll get it cut off. They'll do a biopsy, make sure it's not cancerous or anything. And of course, like, it's my boy. I'm not going to take any risks or anything. So we went to the dermatologist and he did great. He, like, bear hugged me like this around my neck. It was super sweet, but he bear hugged me and they numbed him up. And then they cut off the little mole, sent it off for biopsy. And they said it wasn't cancerous, thankfully. But they said it was a certain type of mole that can eventually become cancerous. I don't remember what it was called. It had a huge name. So I just was like, okay, what do we need to do? And basically what they told us was they probably want to excise the area just to make sure that there's no little remnants of the mole still remaining that can't turn cancerous eventually, which means that they cut a little bitty, like, quarter-sized amount of skin off on his arm, kind of in the shape of an American football. and then they stitch it together and wrap it up, and then it'll heal. It'll just be a little line scar on his arm, like right there where the mole was, but then there's no risk of potential skin cancer and stuff. And Nikki's family has a long history of skin cancer. My family on my mom's side has a history of skin cancer, so we're just like, let's play it safe. But with all of this, like, because he's 2 years old, they can't just do local anesthetic. Like, if it was me, they would just numb it. I put my arm like that, look away, and they'd cut it open, cut that off, and then sew it up, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because he's 2, they can't really do that because he's not, like, he's 2. So they have to, like, fully put him under for this. And the only place they are going to do that is at the Children's Hospital in Denver. For whatever reason, our insurance doesn't think that this is like a necessary thing. They are coming back trying to act like it's a cosmetic thing. Like, yeah, I'm going to take my 2-year-old son in to get put under to have a chunk of skin removed for cosmetic reasons? What? And they're putting us through the ringer. Nikki's been a champ. She was in the car running errands, and she was on the phone with insurance for hours with her, like, with them passing her around to different departments and stuff, because their whole thing is to just piss you off enough or drive you crazy enough that you say, screw it, we'll pay out of pocket. This is going to be like, when all's said and done, I'm sure it's going to be like a $20,000 operation to put them under real quick, because they got to pay the anesthesiologist $8,000 for 20 minutes of their time. And then the surgeon and the equipment's going to be $5,000 or something. Like, it's going to be crazy. And so if we have insurance, yeah, I'd rather insurance pay for it. And we're close to our deductible because of Ori. So, like, at the very least, we can like not be totally financially screwed over, just as long as insurance says, okay, yeah, this is like something that we should cover, because it is. And it looks like finally, after threatening to take them to the insurance board, which apparently terrifies insurance companies, that's a little cheat sheet for you. If you tell them that you're going to call the insurance board and file a formal complaint, and that your, like, lawyer will be in touch and stuff like that, they get really scared. So then it seems like they're going to approve it, and we're going to be able to get the thing done probably early December. But I'm just like, dude, my 2-year-old could have skin cancer, and you are dragging us along for weeks as an insurance company so you don't have to cover it, even though clearly it should be covered. And I pay $1,000 a month, and I still have to deal with this. Like, I thought $1,000 a month, they should be like kissing my feet and sucking my toes. I thought that I would be getting the royal treatment. Apparently not. Apparently I'm still at like the bottom rung of this stuff. It's just insane to me. So, yeah, that's been a whole thing. It's been a whole thing. That's why I'm very thankful to all of you guys who come in and like super chat and watch the videos and support that way, because it does help when stupid things like that pop up and are just insane. Yeah, it's just madness. Yes, the biggest demographic for plastic surgery procedures, toddlers. They always gotta have some nip and tuck done. Totally makes sense. Insurance companies are crooks. Yeah, it was baffling. I was like, I can only imagine, like, in this case, it's not super urgent. You know, it's not something where they're like, this has to be removed in a month, otherwise big problems. In this case, it's like, you know, if we need a few months to figure it out, we can deal with that. I'd like to get it in this year because it'll save us tons of money because we're almost at our deductible. But if it has to happen in January or February, whatever, as long as it gets done. But if it were life-threatening and like he needed an actual cancer operation, they're dragging this on for weeks so that they don't have to cover the bill. Like, what kind of evil company does that? Like, it's just crazy to me that anybody thinks it's okay. It's wild. It's just wild. Yeah, America. Yeah, see, for a K a month, they should call me each month to make sure I'm okay. That's what I'm saying, dude. Rango, thank you for the 2, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you. I had a surgery. Now they're not allowing me to pay for wider coverage. Insurance companies suck. Yeah, if you have a problem, then they like come back and they're like, we're not discriminating against you. We'll still cover you. It's just going to be like 10 grand a month to cover it. One of my brothers needs infusions. He has like a really rare form of arthritis, even though he's only he's only 23. And he, like his infusions, he gets them, I think once a month or twice a month, roughly. And these infusions are like $15,000 to $25,000 each. Because the medicine that they put in the drip bag that goes into his little, whatever they call it, into the needle in your veins. IV, that's it. Whatever medication is owned by some company that has a lockdown on it and a patent, so they charge whatever they want for it. So his medication is like an average of $20,000 each time. And if he didn't have like the same insurance from my parents from when he was like basically in like 16, 17, he would now, like, insurance would be so insanely expensive, he wouldn't be able to get covered for any reasonable amount of money, because no insurance company is going to be like, yeah, pay us $200 a month and we'll cover 20 grand a month. Like, nobody would want to do that. So it's all just insanity. It's insanity. Robert, thank you for the 2 months. My son needs hearing aids and my insurance won't cover a cent for anything. That's insane. What's really just generally frustrating to me, and then I'll get off my soapbox and I'll stop rambling and we can talk about games again, is that, like, especially in America, like, I was under the impression that this was the greatest country in the world, right? That's what we always say. It's the best country in the world, rah, rah, America. And yet we have clearly one of the most broken healthcare systems. And whenever somebody's like, well, it just is what it is. If you want better health coverage, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work your ass off. You know, and they always say it with a cigarette in their hands. And I'm like, can't we do better? Shouldn't we aim to do better? I thought we were the best country in the world and we can't figure this out. We can't do better than this clearly broken system. Like, can't we do better? It's just madness to me that everyone's like, well, yeah, it's broken. Oh, well. Stop it. We'll fix it. Pretty all right. Thank you for the 5 months. 5 months, baby. Genuinely appreciate knowing my $5 a month can help with scary stuff like that. Glad y'all are well and settled in. Oh, yeah. It does. Thank you, my friend. And I do want to be just very clear with you guys. Like, I've taken a couple of little jabs at another creator recently. And it's because there is overwhelming evidence that this guy, who is known as an e-beggar, he'll get on stream and be like, guys, we need support. We need support right now. We need to hit our tip goal of $50 a stream, plus our sub goal of our members stream, or members goal of like 10 subs or 10 memberships a day. And then we got to hit this other super chat goal. So he's like trying to milk his audience for all they're worth. And there is overwhelming evidence to show that he spends thousands upon thousands of dollars a month on a mobile game called WWE Champions. And to date, he's spent well over $100,000 on this mobile game. I'm, of course, talking about DSP. If you don't know DSP, this guy is actually crazy. Like, this whole thing is just, he has a serious problem. DSP WWE Champions. He, like, I don't have a problem if you want to spend money on a mobile game. I think it's stupid and I'll make fun of you for it. But he, like, milks his audience for thousands of dollars. He makes, by most accounts, well over $100,000 a year and spends thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a mobile game that's like Candy Crush meets WWE. It's insane. Like, he has a gambling addiction, which is what this is. But like, he went on a begathon and started begging for money and donations. He made like $1,500 in tips in a month. And then the night that he got the check, he spent $1,500 in the mobile game, pulling like loot boxes to try and get better sweaty JPEGs. Like utter insanity. And I want to be very clear. The reason I brought this up is because when you contribute here, my commitment to you is that none of that goes anywhere stupid like that. Like, I try to be very, very precise and frugal with the money that comes in. We get a lot of stuff for free. I mean, most of the stuff you see in the studio, I didn't actually pay for. Like even down to the Lego sets and stuff, these were gifts and everything. So I know it can look like, yeah, look, sure, with a $700 Lego set, we didn't actually pay for that out of pocket, shockingly enough. But I want to just be very clear that we're not just throwing your money into a mobile game, okay? When like any money that comes in that's excess of expenses for paying my editors or like paying for internet service or the electricity bill for the lights and stuff, anything beyond that stuff is going into savings. The first chunk of it we use to be able to buy a house, you know, like that's going to go up in value, hopefully, that we're going to get more equity in, hopefully. And so I just want to be very clear and very precise with you. My commitment is that any money you contribute, I'm never wasting on a freaking mobile game about WWE wrestlers. It's just so outrageous. Like you can't make it up. Like breaking DSP spent $1,265 overnight on WWE champions. This is 4 days ago. That's bad. And he claims that it's not his account, but he refuses to show the account he uses. He says he plays the game, but he refuses to even show his username to prove it's not him. And his personal phone number has leaked before. And people have used that to verify, like in a lot of mobile games, you can compare phone numbers to find your friends. And they've confirmed that this account that's spending all this money is tied to his personal phone number with two-factor authentication and stuff. It is his account, and he's spending thousands and thousands of dollars on this. Yeah, so 8 days ago, he spent $1,500 in the game. 4 days ago, spent $1,200 in the game. Like, if you think, like, a part of me feels bad. Okay, part of me feels bad because clearly there is some sort of gambling addiction going on here. This is not normal behavior. But I lose all sympathy when we're talking about somebody that is like taking advantage of their audience in this way and doing all of this while not being clear with them where the money's going. This is what the mobile game looks like. This is the game. This is the game he's spending thousands of dollars in. Like you match jewels and then it completes wrestling moves or something. It's the most insanely stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. And he is downright addicted to it. And there's whole communities. TJ Gamebox tracks all of these purchases, XP points, the pulls and everything to see how much money he's spending. And right now, DSP's explanation for it is that it's not his account and it's a troll that hates him so much they are spending this amount of money in the game actively. He thinks there is somebody out there that hates him so much that they will spend over $100,000 to make him look bad indirectly. Like, how stupid does he think we are? Like, what? If you ever want to go down the DSP rabbit hole, go down the DSP rabbit hole. Fred Knutson, he did a great video years ago, like 6 years ago, this one, kind of breaking it down. This is very outdated, though. This is before the WWE saga. This just covers him as a creator through whatever, 2017. he's only gotten more and more insane now. Like he is out of his mind and is like a full-on e-beggar and gambling mobile game addict. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. Oh, I gotta catch up on these. You guys are so generous. Let's see. Tanner, thank you for the 2. When the family gets home, I want to see all of them. I don't know actually when they're planning on getting home, because they were gonna go get cat litter and then they were gonna go see grandma. So I don't actually know when they'll be back, but when I hear little footsteps pattering, we can see if they can come say hi. Disco Cobra, thank you for the 20. Very generous, my friend. Thank you so much. I mean, I won't lie, I've spent some amount of money on either console game add-ons or microtransactions. I try not to make a habit out of it though. GTA 5, I've probably dropped over 250 to 300 since launch, since I have it on all platforms. Like, again, I have no problem with anybody spending money on microtransactions or DLC or things like that. It's your money. Do what you want with it. My problem is when you go to your audience and like e-beg saying that you need money desperately. And that, like, the way he frames it is that I got to pay my bills. I have 2 big bills coming. I need to pay them. And it turns out that it's just because he knows that there's a WWE Champions event coming up that he needs to pig out for. And so he takes all these tips and donations in and spends it all on this mobile game. Like, it's just madness. It's madness. Apparently his laptop broke a couple days ago, which is what he uses to read super chats and tips and stuff. And I mean, you would have thought the world was ending. I mean, he acted like the world was ending. Is he live right now? No, he goes live in about 10 minutes. He goes live in like 8 minutes. Man. But yeah, it's just, I have a problem when you lie to your audience. And for him, like, he straight up lied to his audience that it's for paying big bills and stuff when it's not. It's for him to spend money on a mobile game. And if I came in here and I was like, guys, I got big bills coming, you know, and this is right after I described like the problems with Lockie's arm, and I described the like house bills and taxes, and I say, oh, I've got a big tax bill coming up. And I take in all of these super chats and all these memberships and all these tips and donations and stuff. And then you guys find out that, oh, I just spent all that money on Fortnite skins. You'd be like, what the like, what? You would be justifiably livid. And I would be like, yeah, that's totally fair. If I spent that money on Fortnite skins, you'd be like, what the hell are you doing? He's spending it on a WWE Candy Crush ripoff. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. Like, it's insane. Who keeps donating to him? The term in the DSP detractor, which is what he calls them, community, the term is dense. People who genuinely like his stuff, people call them dense, because they're like, the only way you could like his stuff is if you have a dent in the head. Because no joke, I mean, it is some of the laziest content I've ever seen. Like, we do stream clips and stuff here where I have hired editors, multiple editors, to cut together YouTube shorts, TikToks, these live stream clips and stuff. He will just play and like stream the game, and then he just hits record on OBS and then stop recording after about an hour, and then he uploads it with these basic template thumbnails. And I don't know if it's true or not. Some people were saying that he doesn't even make these. He has one of his fans do it for him. But like, look at this.
We had a heck of a run going through New York City and doing a ridiculous amount of side content, remember? And then we did a major story mission down here where we kind of tracked down Kraven the Hunter's gang and found out that they were in New York City to hunt down the villains of Spider-Man, but it's not clear.
And so it's just an hour of just a chunk of a stream.
Oh.
It's just an hour of that. That's every video. It's every single video. So, with him, like, the content's really, really lazy, and he has some whales. And apparently there are some people who, and this is not something I knew, apparently there are people out there who have like it's basically a fetish for being in control of somebody's financial situation, if that makes sense. Like, there are people who get off on him needing them financially to survive. They love having that power and control over him. Yeah, kind of pay pigs, yeah. Where they're the whales, and if he really needs donations, he has to come and beg me for them. It like gets them off. They like, it gives them pleasure. And so he has like 3 or 4 people that give him thousands of dollars a year, like $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 a year. There's one guy that comes in and gives a $20 tip every single day, 6 days a week. Every time he streams, he comes in and gives $20 every single day. But like, his whole channel is held up by a few of those people. If one of them drops, his income plummets. If 2 of them drop, his income plummets. So like, and that's why you can have a 200,000 sub channel that has videos going up from 2 days ago that have 645 views. Like, this is how. So like, I have no problem with people doing their thing and, you know, getting on the grind. But when you're actively lying to your audience demonstrably and deceiving them and then spending their money that they contribute to you on a mobile game for some sweaty JPEGs of wrestlers, I don't care anymore, frankly. I think that makes you a scammer. You're lying to them about where the money's going and then spending it on something else. That makes you a liar and a scammer. That's how that works. Also, if you've never heard of it, so Keemstar, this is, we're going down the rabbit hole. I'm sorry. No, it was the, yeah. Keemstar had an idea for a podcast. The podcast was going to be called the Lol Cow Podcast. This was something from Keem. And the whole idea was that it was going to be Boogie 2988, Wings of Redemption, and then they wanted to get DSP in it. And it would be 3 of these guys sitting around and talking about stuff. Keemstar said that DSP could take away $50,000 if he agreed to do the podcast. And this is a guy that never shuts up about needing money. And DSP turned it down. Turned it down. Was offered 50 grand to do a podcast. But because that would mean that he's admitting he's a lol cow, like, he turned it down. It's utter insanity. It's utter insanity. Oh no, hold on. I missed one from Brandon. Oh Jesus, Brandon, I'm sorry. Oh, you're right. I totally did miss it. Thank you, Brandon, for the 5 Australian dollars. Dollary dues. Thank you, my friend. Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales, or Spider-Man 2, which has the better story? I personally think I like Spider-Man 2018 story the most. Spider-Man 2 story, super predictable. Spider-Man Miles Morales' story has like a ton of weird plot holes and stuff, but it's like kitschy and fun, so who cares? But that's a matter of personal preference. Like 2018 versus Spider-Man 2, I think they could go either way. For me, Spider-Man 2 has just, like, the whole game is so predictable. You know exactly what's happening. The moment I saw a particle accelerator in like the middle of downtown Manhattan, I'm like, oh, yep, that's going to be, I won't go into it, but it was very clear how the game was going to end. And so, like, that level of predictability is just kind of frustrating to me. I thought the last game did a much better job of keeping you on your toes a little bit, but that's my personal preference. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, DSP also is the guy that jerked off on stream accidentally. That is yeah, that is DSP. If you don't know this part of DSP history, one time he he went live, didn't realize the camera was on, his face cam was on, And this is all you see. It's just like from the chest up of him just going to town and working on himself. And everybody in chat knew what he was doing. And then he kind of finishes his business. Then he comes back, and then he's like, oh, camera's on the whole time.
Hello and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello.
Dude, imagine the instantaneous sweat just pouring down his head. What was in camera? What was in frame? What was it? Oh my God. Again, it's an honest mistake. It's an honest mistake. I think it's weird that you're jerking off like in your studio. That's weird. I wouldn't want to dwell on people's honest mistakes, but again, when you scam your audience, I get to make fun of you. Oh yeah, Rango, we'll touch on that. We can touch on that. Yeah, Boogie had a documentarian come out, and I don't know if the documentary is out yet. Is it out yet fully? I don't know. I think it was coming out Halloween. Maybe it's not. Maybe I misunderstood. But yeah, Boogie had a documentary come out and do stuff. No, weird. You get multiple monitors. Yeah, you get the 360 view. But yeah, right before stream is what's weird to me. Like, you want to chill out and like go all sleepy mode before the stream starts? Like what? You know the South Park episode where it's like entering sleep mode with the whatever shake weight? That's what happens to dudes when they do their business. And he wants to get in that vibe before stream? How does that make sense? No, you like if you want to be hyped up for a stream, you got to start out like you got to be as manic as possible. That's the key. That's the key. So yeah, there's so many layers to DSP, I'll tell you what. But the point is, DSP could have made 50 grand from this Lol Cow podcast where he would just have to sit on camera and talk to Boogie and Wings of Redemption. And he turned it down. And I think it's partially because, for one, his pride won't let him admit that he's a lol cow. Two, he knows that then he would be beholden to Keemstar, who's been one of his harshest critics, and he didn't like that. And three, some people say that they think he actually, at this point, has developed an addiction to begging and being a victim. And if he gets a $50,000 payday, he's not the victim anymore, and he can't beg. And like at that point, if he spends all of his money on WWE champions, he can't just go beg for more because everybody's like, you're getting paid for the Lol Cow podcast. Shut up. You know? So it's just fascinating. His mind is bizarre. His mind is utterly bizarre. But with all this, like the multiple layers of DSP-isms are just endlessly entertaining. He's what I would call like an entry-level lol cow. So if you want to just get like your feet wet with DSP and get kind of a taste of what he brings to the table and the entertaining stuff with him, there's a lot of places to go. Probably the most annoying thing he does though, and then we'll shut up. He has something called postnasal drip. And, you know, it's an honest condition. It's something that happens. It's not something that he can necessarily control. My understanding is it basically just requires him to like clear his throat constantly. Sometimes he actually snorts like a pig as well. But he, like normal people, when they have to sneeze or cough or hack or something, they'll just go like this and they'll just mute it. Easy peasy. Oh, I got to clear my throat. There we go. Much better. He doesn't do that. Maybe it's from Coke. I don't know. Maybe that's where some of the money is also going.
Welcome to the pre-stream podcast.
Dude, it hurts. Like, and this is from one pre-show. Like, it's... And again, it's just more super low effort stuff. All it would take is a mute button. Easy. Got to do your snort? Snort. Oink, oink. That's fine. But the constant snorting is crazy. He's definitely on coke. I know a coke snort. Tanner thinks he's on coke. It would explain where a lot of the money goes. But like, imagine being addicted to coke and WWE champions. What do you like? No wonder you're always broke. It's just crazy. Maybe that's a kink too. I don't know. Light Souls, he fascinates me. Yeah, like I said, he's an entry-level lolcow, so you probably start with DSP, and then maybe you get acclimated with some, maybe LTG if you want. He's that low-tier god guy, also in the fighting games community, one of the most toxic gamers on the planet. He's not that much fun, though, because it's just sad. I think he's... Well, I won't go into that. I think he's got some personal things he can't admit to himself, and that causes him to be a horrible person. But after that, you can probably get acclimated to King Cobra JFS. A little deeper down, you can go to like Chris Chan. The deepest down lolcows are people like Cyrax. And Cyrax is just... I mean, again, this is somebody that just doesn't even look like a real human being. Yeah, he's something else. And I feel bad. He lost the genetic lottery. This is what Cyrax looks like. But he is somebody that thinks that he is like a rock star rapper and also thinks he's a professional like Formula One racer because he plays Forza 5. And he's also just like a horrible, horrible person in every single way. Like he's just insane. That's a deep down lolcow though. Like if you start with Cyrax, you're going in deep, you know. It's like going straight to the hard liquor. You got to start with like some wine or a beer and then get into that. This is just sad. It's not that sad once you see what like a lot of Cyrax has done. Cyrax is like an actual pita fork. He likes young people. He's been caught trying to talk and meet with them. He sent illicit pictures to people he thought was young. He's beat up his grandma and gone to jail for it. Like, I have very little sympathy for Cyrax. Very, very little sympathy. Yeah. What does LTG have to admit to himself? I don't know who it is, but I'm curious. He's do I even want to get into it? You know, we'll save it for a members only stream. I could get into it. I don't want to beat up on the guy for that kind of thing. I think it's some of the most harsh and mean, vindictive bullies are hurting people because they hurt. You know, hurt people hurt people. That's the old saying. And I think for him, he is acting out and is super toxic and mean and vicious. He makes fun of people's appearances. There was one like disabled gamer he played against, and he referred to them as one of those I don't think it was Pokemon. It was like from some other cartoon, but he referred to him as like a cartoon for like an alien creature that didn't have arms or legs, because this guy was paraplegic and had to play the fighting game with like his actual mouth with a specialized controller, and he still lost. Yeah, I think it was was it Snorlax? I don't remember what it was. But yeah, he's just like a toxic, horrible person. But as far as I can tell, usually people act that way because they feel deserving of that treatment themselves. So they project it out. You know, like a lot of the bullies I knew in high school, they were the ones that actually were treated the same way at home by like their parents or by their dad or older siblings or something. And so they came to school and acted out the same way, treating other people the same way that they were being treated at home, because it almost made them feel more empowered, or like they were not victims anymore. They had taken control. And so usually when you see somebody that's just like particularly aggressive with bullying and that type of thing, it's because there's something deep down that they're very hurt by. And I can have some sympathy with that. Like, I think LTG is a toxic person. I don't know if I'd say he's like, I haven't seen enough to say that he's like downright just a terrible person. But Cyrax is a horrible person. Like, Cyrax is an actual person who should, frankly, probably be in jail. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we need more member streams. There's so many stories we're waiting for a member stream. Yeah. last one we did, I think I told you guys all about the stalker that we have. It was a whole thing. With all that said,
Shout out to the chess club.
shout out to the chess club. Yeah. Oh man, there's so much. I have so many tabs open. Oh my goodness. Okay, in news that has not surprised anybody. Let's see. Hold on. Disco, sorry I missed your second one. Thank you for the 5. Then I also spend a decent amount on super chats or subscriptions to people online. Never kept track, but I know it's over 5 to 10K this past year. Wow. I mean, props to you for being supportive and stuff. And I mean, again, as long as you can financially handle it, more power to you. Like, a lot of people I know spend money on insane things. Like, if I go on a vacation, you could say that that's wasted money. But as long as I can afford it and do it, like, okay. I don't think anybody would throw a fit. In the same way, like, if you want to spend money on, like, really expensive wine, because that gives you joy and pleasure, and that's, like, your hobby is to drink nice wines. Okay, whatever. But, like, if you're lying to people to get money to buy expensive wines, and you're telling them it's for, like, your mortgage, and then you go and buy an expensive wine, then I have a problem, you know? Can you adopt me? I'm house trained. Oh, that's good. That's good. You are not in the chest club. The mosquito bite club, maybe. Really? You can kind of squeeze them together a little bit. Any sommeliers in crowd? One of my old bosses was like a trained sommelier. He worked at the Ritz-Carlton in Denver. And yeah, he was like a trained sommelier. I've told this story before of me like helping him to his car with boxes of wine because he'd have it delivered to the office because there was always somebody over the age of 18 to sign for it. For some reason, you have to be over 18 to sign for the wine, even though you have to be over 21 to buy it and drink it. That's weird, but he had to have somebody over the age of 18 there to sign for it, and he wasn't at home. He was at work. So he'd have it delivered to the receptionist at our office, and then he had like some back problems and stuff, so he'd ask me to help him carry it to his car. And this guy, like, I kid you not, it's a box, maybe the size of that Starfield box, but like twice the height. So like a nice big box. I don't know how many bottles were in it, maybe a dozen. But he's like, careful with that. And I was like, I kind of offhandedly was like, yeah, how much is this box worth? He's like, I think that's like $12,000 worth of wine. Dude spent like $500 a bottle. That's why I don't know if I'd want to get trained as a sommelier. If you can taste the difference to that level, I don't think you'd ever be able to enjoy anything again. You know? Like, it's the same reason why I would tell people when I worked in like home theater setups and stuff, I would tell them, I gotta warn you, once you hear what a $5,000 speaker sounds like or what a $20,000 speaker sounds like, your iPhone speaker, your headphones, they will all sound like garbage and you'll never want to use them ever again. It's like a curse. It's a curse. Because you've tasted the forbidden fruit. You've heard what it can sound like elsewhere. It's the same thing like the first time you see an OLED next to a more traditional like edge lit panel. And you're like, oh my God, it's not even close. This is so much better. It's silly. It's the same thing. And some people just don't mind. I mean, some people can just be like, no, it looks fine to me. Whatever. They don't care. But if you can tell the difference at that point, it like ruins everything for you. Yeah, same thing using 240 hertz versus 60. Yeah, once you're used to 240, going to 60 is like impossible. Extro, I don't get the Alan Wake hype. It sucks so far. I should have spent my $100 on RoboCop. I think my prediction is that as time goes by, the consensus with more casual gamers will be that Alan Wake is overrated. I think for Alan Wake fans, it's probably a 9 or a 10. If you're not already a fan, I think it's going to not be your favorite. That's my prediction. I don't think it'll be as bad as Deathloop. Deathloop was like, they were giving it 10s all over the place, and even Arcane fans were like, really? I think people just didn't really connect with it. But yeah, I think a lot of more casual gamers are not going to be super into it. Speaking of audio, been wanting to ask you if you use your Sennheiser and headphone amp there in the back for gaming. I do. So when I'm not streaming, I don't use the Astro A50s. I actually use this Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
It's called a Valhalla 2 amp from Sheet. I know it sounds silly, but it's how it's spelled. It's SCHITT, I think is how it's spelled. But they're an audio company that makes some amazing amps and stuff. This is a headphone amp, headphone tube amp. And then I have my HD 600 headphones up there. And those things are great. And they just go in here and it's wonderful. And I love it dearly. So yeah, that's what that's for. Who has those for sponsorships? Well, like as far as wireless headphones are concerned, these are the best I've ever used and zero complaints. I've used them forever. I love Astro stuff. For wireless stuff, I think they're fantastic. The battery life is insane. The built-in mic is great, you know, if you happen to need that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, different audio setups for different uses. This technically can provide better quality. This is more convenient. So it's just a matter of trading off depending. Thoughts on Gideon quitting his channel and starting a new one? Oh, I didn't know he did that. That's interesting. But I guess it doesn't really matter as long as he's getting the same view counts, as long as his viewers are willing to move with him. Whatever. Yeah, it's a tube amp. Sure is. Personal game of the year so far, Baldur's Gate 3. Normally I'm like, oh, it's a toss-up. I wonder who's going to win. It's Baldur's Gate 3. Unless Avatar is like actually descended from the heavens, I don't see anything taking it. I think the AirPod Maxes have a better soundstage. Yeah, I think so too. I would agree with that. But the AirPod Maxes are also like a $500 headphone versus these, which are I think like $320, $350, something like that. And not all of that $350 is going into the drivers or anything. Part of that is going into the wireless stuff. Part of that's going into the dock. You know, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. Didn't realize you could even use a tube amp in this context. Yeah, I mean it has 4 tubes, 4 little tubes. But yeah, they'll actually glow up and get bright. I can turn it on. I don't know if the camera will be able to capture it. But they get a little orange glow to them as they power up, as they start going. Yeah, there they go. I don't think you can really see it, but yeah, there's like a little orange glow to them as they light up. And this thing does get hot. You're asking if there's noticeable heat. It gets hot. It gets pretty toasty. Like it's not really a problem on wood. I mean, the whole chassis gets hot because the whole thing is basically a heat sink. But yeah, it's pretty intense. Game of the Year nominees so far. For me personally, I'd give it Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom. Hogwarts Legacy, I think, gets a nod. I think I'd probably give a toss to Spider-Man 2. And as for 5th, I don't really know. That would be my wild card. I'd let something wild come in. Hi-Fi Rush was really good, really unique and quirky, so that could get it. Resident Evil 4 Remake, I personally just feel weird about remakes and DLC and expansions getting nominated for Game of the Year. Like, one of the games I enjoyed the most, full stop, this year was actually Cyberpunk 2077, going through it again with the Phantom Liberty DLC and the 2.0 update. It's like a brand new game and it's fantastic. But I don't think it's fair to the other games to give Game of the Year to something that released 3 years ago that got an expansion, you know? I'm not sure if I feel good about that, but that's just my personal opinion. I mean, if somebody else wants to give it Game of the Year because that's what they liked the most this year, cool, whatever. Starfield, yeah, I think Starfield would be at the top of a lot of people's lists. For me personally, it was fine. It was even pretty good, but it just, to me, it's not quite on the level of as a lot of the other stuff we got. Would you ever do a super long stream, like a 24-hour stream? What's it called? A subathon? I think so. I'd be open to it. I'd have to coordinate with Nikki and make sure she's okay and good to go. I'd probably bring Jacob in to help me. So Jacob, my editor, my brother that you guys have seen around and know well, he is freaking hilarious, as you guys know. And so I'd probably bring him in to help do that. So I can go, like, if I have to go sleep for 6 hours, he mans the stream for 6 hours and does stuff. So we do something like that. I don't know, but I'm open to it. One of the things I've noticed, strangely enough, our stream clips here on YouTube have been skyrocketing in terms of performance. I mean, the stream clips are blowing up, but the average concurrent viewership has actually dropped on average. Like earlier this year, we were averaging 500-600 people in here, and now we're at like 350 to 450 depending on the day, which is still like a lot of people. I love it. And it's small enough that I can still read all the chat and keep up with it, but it's big enough that things stay interesting and keep moving and ticking by. And granted, there are less releases and stuff, but I would hope for more consistent attendance. So I've been thinking, like, is that just because of the platform, or is it because of the content where everybody's like, oh, well, this is just going to be in stream clips, so I'll just watch the stream clips. You know, I don't need to be there live, which is totally fair. I get that. But then I'm like, how do we address it? You know, how do we fix it? Maybe it's less consistent timing of the streams. I mean, we did have a couple of kind of breaks tossed in there. So that could be part of it. It could also be that I know a lot of streamers make their bread and butter on streaming games, actual games. Whenever I've tried to stream games here, we see viewership like half of wherever it was before. Like just chatting is where all of our main viewership and stuff comes from. The moment I start playing games, it plummets, which is just funny. It's interesting. So I don't know. One more viewers. Let's talk about Spider-Man 2's equal rights content. Yeah. When I posted that Spider-Man video, the first like 6 comments on the video, there was one guy that was like first, and then there were like 6 comments of people that were like, I like the game, but all of the SJW stuff drove me crazy. It was so funny. It was crazy. It was just funny. I was like, that's your takeaway? Really? Okay. Well, whatever. Have you ever considered multi-streaming on Twitch now? Yeah, now they support it. Now they'll allow it. And I actually do think we're going to do that. I was going to try to get it working by the end of this week. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, obviously, because we're here today. But I am going to screw around with OBS and Streamlabs and see if I can get it working. Because I do think that could be one of the ways we do it. Because I'm a partner on Twitch. I just haven't been streaming there, because if I stream there, there's all sorts of weird random rules, or at least there were, where if you streamed, say right now, the segment we just did on DSP, let's say that. We stream that segment, and then I want to cut it together for a stream clip that I'll put up in the morning or this afternoon. I can't do that here on YouTube. I have to keep stream content exclusive to Twitch for 24 hours. So you can't, according to the old rules, my understanding is it's different now, but it used to be that if you cut a stream clip from your Twitch stream and tried to put it on YouTube within 24 hours of it happening, they could take away your partnership. It's ridiculous. It's insane. So they've seemingly changed that policy, and now it's different. And so you can co-stream. You can stream here on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time. You just have to treat them all the same. Like you have to have Twitch chat pulled up and YouTube chat pulled up and go between them. And I think that's a much better way of doing it. So I'm down to experiment with it and try it, especially if it runs well and performs well. I think that could be super cool, and we'll just see how it goes. Is Kick still alive? Yeah. I just personally, I'm okay with a lot of the stuff they've done in terms of monetization. I think the 95/5 split is cool. I just don't right now want to be affiliated with like Aiden Ross and like all of the other insane like travel vloggers and stuff on Kick. I just like, I've had people like when we moved to YouTube, there's been sponsors that have reached out and been like, hey, we'd love to sponsor one of your streams. We heard you're a streamer. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm on YouTube right now. And they're like, oh, we're only sponsoring Twitch streamers, which is bizarre. Like, I wouldn't think it would matter, but apparently Twitch has like a reputation with sponsors and branded agencies and stuff where that's where real streamers go. And they think if you're not on Twitch, it's because you were kicked off, and you're probably kicked off for good reason, which is just funny to me, you know? Oh, Clara, that'd be very generous of you. Thank you. And for me, like, it literally would do nothing. Like, if you want to watch on Twitch, you can watch on Twitch and use those emotes and stuff. If you want to watch on YouTube, you can watch on YouTube. Whatever you want. You know, it's your preference, whatever you prefer. Because I know a lot of you guys are like, don't go to Twitch, I won't follow because I just like watching on YouTube. And I have YouTube Red, so I don't have to sit through ads. And then other people are like, I watch streams on Twitch. I don't watch streams on YouTube. If you were on Twitch, I'd watch. So, you know, it's the best of both worlds now. I'll sub on Twitch and watch on YouTube. Oh, that's the pro strat right there. That's the way to do it. They just got Nick Merckx. Yeah, Nick was really pissed with all of them. Like first he had all that Call of Duty stuff happen. I think that was earlier this year. And then like he's been really ostracized, and I think Twitch hasn't treated him right. And they negotiated a deal. I think it was just a straight up year ago. They negotiated a single deal because a lot of people thought that he was moving to Kick last year or YouTube last year. And then he surprised everybody. And he's like, I'm still on Twitch. We're going to hang out. Like, you guys remember we left Twitch after streaming there for like 6 months or like a year or something, and then taking time off. And there were a couple of people. I actually wonder. I actually don't know. Channel creator dashboard, maybe community. Roles alert. I don't know if I can actually see subs and stuff. Oh no, we do. Like, I haven't been here forever, and we do still have 9 subs. Somehow there's 9 people out there that have kept their auto subs on. Does anyone know if there's a way to see the subs? I want to see like who they are. Because like Exile was one that had like a 2-year streak going, and there were some others. But like even here, look at all these people that are still like following, even though I don't stream on Twitch. So I think we might actually find some success if we were to bounce over and co-stream. Those are the real ones. Yeah. For real. Filter. Oh, wait. Can I filter gifted subs? No, where's just subs? Just Pug subbed with Prime. Shout out. And the Twitch moderation, the chat moderation, rather, is so much better. It's not even close. I don't know. I don't actually know where the hell I can see the subs. So I guess it'll just be a fun little surprise to see if like Exile and those guys come back. There were some other people like I remember Maddie would come by every once in a while, and yeah, I wonder if those guys are still around. Oh, we'll probably find out. You found one of my videos on Pornhub. Which video was it? It was probably Death Stranding or something, right? Something weird. That's freaking awesome. People were asking me at one point because we got a bunch of like videos demonetized like a year ago for some random reason. Oh, you know what? It was the God of War video. Remember where I was trying to play the original God of War again, and Kratos steps off the ledge of Mount Olympus and then plummets down, and they demonetized the whole video because they said that was promoting self-harm. And so at the time we were talking about like, oh, where should we go to upload videos now if YouTube falls apart? And people are like, you should just upload a bunch of videos on Pornhub. At the very least, they won't get taken down. I was like, actually, might not be a bad idea. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I wonder who these people are. I wonder if you guys are watching right now. I wonder. That's funny. Let's see, something involving a horse. Let's see. Did you talk about the Boogie doc? Is there even a trailer out for it now? I don't think there's a documentary out on it now. Like Boogie, I used to be a hardcore fan of Boogie, watching everything he did. But I think like there's a lot of reasons to be upset with him and to put him in the lolcow category. I mean, just the constant, like, he clearly lies and manipulates people a lot, and he has this like weird victim addiction almost, where he has to always be bullied. Like, he has an addiction to being treated poorly. I don't know what the term for that is. It's not even like masochistic. It's like emotional abuse he's addicted to. So like, he'll say things on Twitter to get people mad at him because he's addicted to that attention. It's really, really weird. But a lot of these documentaries I've seen, I think are, oh, this might be it. I think are not super fair. A lot of the things where they pull up like an old Twitch clip and are like, see, in this one, like there was one clip where he's talking to a guy in his team. I think they were playing Apex or something. And he's like, okay, who's going to lead the drop? And the guy's like, I don't know. I can if you want. And Boogie goes, well, are your parents still married? And the guy's like, no, they're divorced. And he's like, oh, okay, so I should probably take the lead on the drop then. He's like, what do you mean? And and he's like, well, because you come from a broken home, you're probably going to get really angry really quickly. So it's probably just better if I take it. Which, like, in the context of like an edgy Twitch stream, I've heard many other streamers say things way worse than that. And then they're using this as like, and Boogie would bully people for being from broken families and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's a bit of a stretch, I think. Like, I think that's a stretch. And there's a lot of little stuff like that where I think that they're trying too hard to find problems with him. Like at one point he was in a hotel room. I'll just pull this up, then we can watch the trailer. He's in a hotel room, like, and people took this as him like openly saying he was going to hire an escort. Okay, watch this. And do you think that this is somebody just trying to be funny for Twitch chat, or if this is somebody openly discussing how he's going to cheat on his wife?
Do you guys want to see what I can do? Why do I have two beds? One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for the hooker. One for me and one for my hooker.
Welcome to the sub club.
One for the hooker. One for me and one for the hooker.
Like, that's the whole thing. But they play it like it's him admitting to hiring a prostitute. Like, so there's a lot of these clips where I'm like, I don't know if these are fair. I think these are trying a little too hard to be upset at him. But then there's a lot of other stuff that he's done and said where I'm like, see, that's actually worth bringing up. That's a problem, you know, with him like lying about this thing or that thing. But when you try too hard to make somebody look like a bad guy, you end up looking like a bad guy because you end up like digging, like you already struck oil. Stop digging, you know? But this is the trailer. I've not actually seen this. This is the trailer for the documentary. I don't know the guy that's putting it together. Mike Klum. I don't actually know who this is. But it's called The Dark Sad Life of Boogie 2988. Let's see.
I'm a 48-year-old man in a fucking online space that's dominated by 20-year-old kids. I'm sick, I'm old, I'm fucking dying. I wake up every day and do the same shit over and over again, expecting different results. And I never get them, but I'm just keep trying.
Boogie 2988, he's a legend of YouTube. He's been around forever. He's a fucking legend.
I thought it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. Like I remember thinking,
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube, Boogie 298.
I'm good at this. I can handle it. Go fuck yourself.
Boogie 298.
His fall from grace is so
So
catastrophic.
I'm asking for your help as we head into the holidays.
I need $7,000 a month. I'm not making $7,000 a month, and I have no clue how to do it.
And I made some money off of YouTube last month, but I did not make enough without a sponsor or something. Like this is going to keep me from going out on the streets, right? Like this is going to keep me in the house. So guys, can I introduce you to the love of my life?
Because I love him, and just imagining a life without him is difficult.
This is where I spend 6 to 8 hours a day trying to figure out how to save my career.
What is your YouTube?
My risk for stroke or heart attack is astronomical.
Oh, the boxing fight. I forgot about that.
this is a guilt trip. He's guilt tripping his audience, like, and like he kind of shames people that don't watch his videos all the way to the end and share. He brings it up multiple times. Like, this is
I actually find it interesting that they're framing it like they're acknowledging that this seems like a guilt trip. They're acknowledging it up front because I think that's everybody's initial impression is that it seems like that's what it's going to be. But it seems really well put together. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing in terms of cinematography and filming and everything, so I'll give him that. My understanding is that his girlfriend, I know people are saying it's a kid. She is an adult. Do I think it's weird for somebody almost 50 to date like a 20-year-old? A little bit, yeah. It makes me uncomfortable, personally. But if she honestly likes him, she's an adult. She can do what she wants. But I mean, it's an interesting topic because it is true. Like back in the day, Boogie was like, people would call him the Mr. Rogers of YouTube. People said, he's been around forever. Everybody loves him. He's like a god among men. Like he was a legend. And nowadays, it's not even the cool thing. It's just everybody is like kind of agrees that he's lost that spark and he's just gone. What I hope they touch on is all of this stuff started to fall apart for him, specifically when his wife left. He got the weight loss surgery in like 2017, I think. And he and his wife divorced shortly after that. And at that point, his content all just plummeted almost immediately. He went from having a hugely devoted fan base to being a lol cow in the span of like a year and a half, 2 years. So my question is how much his wife actually was responsible for his initial success, because she had kind of been there from the very beginning. And it seems like once she left, he just lost it. Like he lost whatever was balancing him out. And I think she was one of the brains behind the operation of making these like funny viral videos. And once she was gone, he just could never figure it out himself. Was that woman his wife? No, his wife, like I said, has been, that's his like girlfriend. I think they've been together for like 6 months or a year or something like that. But yeah. I want my goddamn Mountain Dew. Yeah, Old School Boogie, man. I mean, Old School Boogie was funny. I mean, at least at the time, he fit the Mountain Stew. Oh, dude, I remember these. I thought these videos were so funny back in the day, and now, like this one, 12 million views.
My entire giant fat ass. You're the fat ass. No, you're the fat ass. You're the fat ass.
What is your problem?
The girl talking is his wife that they broke up in like 2017 after his surgery.
How do you keep calling me fat online?
How do they know you're fat?
I don't know. How do they know I'm fat? God damn it! God damn it! God damn it!
What did you do?
Well, the goddamn thing's red ringing.
We're not buying you another one.
Well, it's my money. I'll buy one if I goddamn want one.
So he takes it out and like breaks it.
Shit!
Like this was peak YouTube back in like whatever it was, 2012. Like these videos went super viral whenever they were uploaded. Now we look at it and we're like, really? Like what? But back in the day, this was like peak YouTube. You know, I remember watching this as a kid. Yeah. Dude, it's over 11 years ago. It's wild. YouTube used to be much simpler. Yeah. And I think this is part of it. Like a lot of these lol cows that have fallen from grace, they started making pretty good content for the time, but they didn't evolve with the times. Like Leafy is another example of a huge creator that was massive. And then everybody kind of grew up out of their 12-year-old phase. And a lot of those 12-year-olds became 14-year-olds who all of a sudden could feel empathy again. And we're like, wait, why are you bullying an autistic kid? What are you doing? You pulled up a video of an autistic child singing and you're going to make fun of the way they look and sound? Like, what a terrible person, you know? And what made it even funnier is that he couldn't take criticism. People would make fun of the way he looked or like make fun of his jawline and stuff. And so he talked to the camera like this, covering his jaw so you couldn't see it. Like he was actually super insecure. It's why I said earlier, a lot of hurt people hurt people. And I think for him, he probably had gotten bullied a lot. And so he made these videos online bullying people. People thought they were funny. So he became super wealthy and famous. But he didn't grow with the times. He didn't evolve out of it. And I don't know if he ever could have, frankly. His content was pretty rough. I don't know if an apology video would have fixed it. But I mean, it really does show you for a lot of these guys, you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And in the case of Boogie, I think that's very true. If Boogie, I even remember seeing a stream of him talking. It was like on Twitch. This had to be years ago. It was when he was in one of his spirals. And he said, you know, sometimes I wonder if it would have been better if I had just died on the operating table when I was getting my weight loss surgery, because then I would have gone out sooner, but at least everybody would have still liked me. I was like, dude, that's intense. That hits deep. Because I mean, he now is a villain, but back then when he was getting the surgery, he was still a hero, you know? At least with some people, like, what's her name? The Jenna Marbles. Didn't she just like straight up leave YouTube? A bunch of videos surfaced of her from 10 years ago where she was like straight up doing blackface. And like, as crazy as it is to think, in 2010, 2011 YouTube, a shocking number of creators were doing that. Shane Dawson did it a lot. Shane Dawson's stuff was insane. And so like when that came out for her, she was just like, you know what? I've made my bag. Seems like she was smart with her money, invested it. So she's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm out. And so she left. Yeah, she dipped. But I mean, for her, she was just like, you know what? I'm going to go out before we drag this on. And I come off as the villain who overstayed their welcome. I'm just going to leave. So she left. That's what Shane seemed to have done. But I think Shane Dawson, didn't he come back? Isn't he still doing stuff? Shoe Nice was still trying, but he was on top of YouTube. Yeah. Wings of Redemption, DSP, Boogie, all of these lol cows are in the same category. Like, they used to be super high up in the ranks of YouTube. And as years have gone by, they've just plummeted because they refuse to change with the times. They refuse to improve their content. Like, they're just lazy or whatever else. Rango, thank you for the Mountain Dew video, live react doc. Oh, like live react to the documentary. I don't actually know. Oh, DSP streaming. I don't actually know if that would be like cool. I'd want to reach out to the documentarian and see if he's comfortable with that. Because like he worked very hard on a documentary. I don't know if I want to just straight up co-stream it while watching it. I'd want to make sure he was comfortable with it, you know. Digital Variable, big fan Luke. Hope the move went really well. Also, I'm really glad you covered Suicide Squad game. I don't know what to think of that game, but my expectations were really high and now they're average level. Yeah, I'm gonna do a full main channel video on it. I think this coming week, kind of dive into it a little deeper. And I think that'll be good because there's a lot of moving pieces to it, and I really want to try not to fall into like the trap of this is gonna be just another disaster. Everybody hate on it. I don't want people to do that, but I think there are many red flags associated with it, and people should be very skeptical of what's being promised and what they're presenting. I mean, how do you take that angry fat gamer shtick and evolve that into a modern audience? Well, Boogie's thing, like, what's like 2014? What's a game from 2014? AC Unity, maybe? So he had some of these videos, like, look at this one. This is 2014, October 2014, and 1.7 million views, which especially for 2014 is crazy that he was getting these view levels semi-regularly. And he would do videos like this. This wasn't in Francis.
Look at 988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. Man, I was just got home, as you guys know, from San Francisco, and there was a package waiting for me, and it was this package. And I started to crack it open because I wasn't expecting anything. I'm finally been recruited. There are additional directions to the holy show. It's like a crossbow.
Like, this is the Boogie I remember, and this is the Boogie I kind of fell in love with back in the day, which was, he actually has a different voice. He spoke a little deeper, and he told his story once. It was because he grew up in like Appalachia, and so he grew up with like a really thick accent, kind of like this is what he said he grew up talking like. And he had to train himself by listening to the evening news and copying their voices back to them so he could get that broadcaster's voice, because he didn't want to be made fun of for talking like somebody from Appalachia. So he like has this deeper voice where he's kind of presenting it and you can still hear it. And he also just comes off as much less unstable. Like, I really think for him, most of the collapse was his wife leaving. I think his wife did way more than anybody realized to keep him at a level playing field and to balance out his craziness. And so when she got kind of fed up with it, because apparently he was a very difficult person to live with, especially around the surgery, he was very, very I mean, I'm sure it's intense. You're about to get major surgery and everything about your life is about to change. And they say something like 70% of all marriages fail during the course of one of those weight loss surgeries. So the odds were pretty high it was going to collapse. But I think when she left, all of this was kind of set into motion, because this is just a different Boogie.
Oh, holy shit. Exclusive in-game French cavalry. Secondly, it's got the crossbow, which I guess is new for this game, because I don't remember there ever being a crossbow. So, crossbow, boop. Ah, there we go. And then it's got the crossbow dart, and which I'm going to fire at my monitor here, and I'm sure I'm going to break it. Oh, please don't break, please don't break. Please don't break. Get some! And
like, that's the Boogie I remember. And unfortunately, this is not the Boogie we have today. But this is the Boogie everybody loved. And then something happened and he just changed. And I think it was partially like the weight loss stuff. It was partially new teeth. It was partially his wife leaving it. I think a lot of things in his life changed very, very quickly. And he tried to figure out who he actually was in that process. And it just led to a lot of things kind of collapsing all at once.
I would never be able to.
Oh yeah, Boogie's or a DSP streaming
right now on my cell phone, sitting in front of me. I have a 3-bar connection, and that connection fluctuates.
So you mean about the like
I have
snorting and throat clearing?
3-bar connection right now on my cell phone, sitting in front of me. I have a 3-bar connection, and that connection fluctuates between 3 bars to 1 bar all day long. It's never consistent. That's just how it is out here. I don't have a pure. If I lived in the city, I'd have a 5-bar
What is he
connection all the
even
time,
talking
and I
about?
easily get cell phone internet, and it would be fast enough to do everything I need. I can't do that. Okay, so
like, what's he? Imagine a drinking game where you have to take a shot every time he grunts or snorts or something. Like, I don't even know what I do. It's just like, again, the lowest of the lowest effort content where it's just like, snort. Herobrine, hi. Let's go. Release me. That's funny. Lamau. I'm Lamauing. I've Lamaued. Oh, wow. I'm on a 52-month streak. That's great. That's great. Hi. How do I say your name? How do I say your name? Shoddy? CD? I don't know. How do I say your name? Yeah, guys, I think what we're going to do is next week we're going to try co-streaming pretty much everything. I think that's what we're going to try. We'll see what that's doing. Where's the 47-part DSP documentary? One day we'll get that. Right now we just have that for Chris Chan. It is insane how much research and stuff people have done into Chris Chan. It's wild. Oh, that's you, Epic Gamer? You're CD? Shoddy? Hidden Ones? Hello there. Yes, new subjects. Indeed. How do I pronounce it? Do you want me to just call you Epic Gamer? Because on Twitch, we have a cool thing where I can... How do I do it? I remember there was a way to do it. Mod, timeout, ban. No, I don't want to do that. Mod comments. No, I thought there was a way... Maybe there's not. I thought there was a way to, like, give a nickname. Follow Whisper Gifts. Maybe there's not. Maybe I'm crazy. I thought there was a way to do it. Whoops.
Oh my god, the dog shit.
I thought there was a way to do it. Maybe not. I have the high ground. Yes, you do, Hidden Ones. Oh, look at that. Pretty all right. Thank you. And Adam, also thank you. We're not even streaming on Twitch and we're gaining subs. You gotta love it. I mean, it's crazy. Buy margarita on me. I will do that. Twist my arm, why don't you? Taking the kid trick-or-treating? Yeah, we're gonna go hang out. There is a trick-or-treating thing tomorrow. where it's in like Old Town Loveland, where we can kind of walk around and take the kids trick-or-treating to various businesses and stuff. So we're going to do that. That's going to be super cute. And then on Halloween night, we'll see what we do. I'm not really sure how that'll play out, because it really depends. Right now, we're in the middle of a cold front blowing in. So last night, it was like 15 degrees where I live. All of the trees are just dropping all of their leaves at the same time right now. It's just very, very cold. And right now, according to my watch, it's 35 outside. So it's it depends on how cold it is. If it's like 15 degrees outside on Halloween night, I'm not sure we'll take Ori out, because I mean, he's like 5-6 months old, so like 5 months old. So I don't know if we'll do that, but sadly it's snowing here in Minnesota. Oh, really? Dude, I miss the snow. I'm ready for the snow. I'm buckled in for the snow. Nightbot's working. Oh, dude. Part of me kind of missed Twitch. I'm going to be honest. Part of me kind of missed it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll try subbing it. Maybe. Did you know you can subscribe to Mr. TV for free with your Twitch Prime? It's true. The Chosen Aragon. My wife and I watch her on YouTube all the time. Love the vids. Also, we're making our first video game. No way. That's super cool. Would it be possible to email you information and talk to you about taking a look at it? Either way, I love your content. Yeah. Assuming you're in stream right now. This stream. No, reach out to my agents at Luke at 28thave.com. Luke at 28thave.com. And email that goes to me and my agents and stuff, and we can try to figure something out. The schedule's pretty booked up, as I'm sure you can imagine, but I'm always down to try and help and check stuff out. Can you be my dad? Boy. Oh wait, sorry, hold on.
Boy, get over here. Call me daddy.
It's because you guys are used to the snow. I'm not used to the snow right now. We're coming out of a very dry, hot Colorado summer, and so I need snow and the cold. I'm here for it. Yes, Daddy? Attaboy.
Good boy.
Oh my god. That's funny. I'm Canadian. I'm legally required to like snow, guy. I like snow too, buddy. Do you like snow, pal? Stream, we'll be back soon. Well, that was a lie. Yeah. Oh, is the stream title still screwed up? It is. Live with Restream. That's what they auto set it to. Okay, that pisses me off. We'll be back Monday. I tried to use Restream to co-stream on these different platforms a while back, and I didn't realize Restream changes the title on Twitch to Live with Restream. That seems screwed up. That seems screwy. We have 10 seconds for a hype train. I don't remember what hype trains do, but I think it's cool. Once hype train is underway, the community fills up the hype meter with more subs. Okay, I don't know. It gives like emotes, I think. I think you unlock emotes. Let's see. Yeah, Twitch stream is Monday. It's Sign in Your Blood. Yeah, we'll try co-streaming everything on Monday. We'll see how that goes. Isn't there an OBS plugin that can do what Restream does? Yeah, doesn't Streamlabs also do it automatically? I think they do. Mm-hmm. Ooh, rare prototype footage of Spider-Man 2. Is this actually...
Thing out.
Is this real? Let's see this. This is kind of cool. Rare PS4 development prototype footage.
Nobody's ever seen this before.
Ryan, you remember this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ryan, why don't you walk us through this? Yeah.
I mean, this is a test level that we built. We knew that we had, when we were going to do swinging, we had to get the size of the world right. We had to get the webs attaching to buildings. And so you start with the simplest world and the simplest buildings you can make. And we had to learn all the different like sizes of buildings. I'm watching him fall. What it should feel like to fall, right? How to make it feel like you're swinging.
Oh, the motion blurred.
Yeah.
Start. Look at this.
Even the gray blocks, the potential is there. You see it. You see what it's going to become.
Yeah. And you had to get the swing around. I mean, Brian, you've talked about this quite a bit. That the most important thing when the first thing
I love that
was the swinging had to feel right and it had to look right. And even here in this very, very early,
you're on to something.
You're on to something.
Yeah. Well, I got to give a lot of credit to the gameplay programmers and the animators who all collaborated on this.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. You can see the little remnants as it starts to come together, this little camera angle, all of this. I love seeing work in progress footage like this. I think it's so cool. I think it's so cool because this is how games are made. I mean, this is how it starts. And it's why, like, whenever these leaks come out with games and people are like, oh, look, the leak looks terrible. It doesn't mean anything. Like, this could have leaked back in, I don't know when this would have been taken from. But if the game came out in 2018, maybe like this is 2014, 15 footage. And so, like, if this leaked then, everybody would be like, wow, the new Spider-Man game looks terrible. What is Sony doing? But we know how it ended up. We know how it turned out, and it was way better than this.
That's one of the things that we believe in heavily is different teams working together to make something special. And that there are a lot of ideas, certainly, and a lot of playtesting early on where we all tried it out and were asking the tough questions. How should its webs attach? What should it feel like?
What can we interact with in the environment? What are the different options? Whether it's just the buildings, or whether we can wall run, or whether we can shoot for fire escapes. All those things have to come up during the play testing and development.
Okay, I hate to interrupt everybody, but we are less than 30.
That's super cool. That's super, super cool. I love it. Do they have like development footage of like The Last of Us Part 2? Prototype levels. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the block mesh phase and how it turned out. That's crazy. But I mean, it's got to start somehow, right? Like, and most of this is just like they start, okay, we're on a city street and on either side there are shops, or in this case, like there's a highway overpass and a bunch of cars laying around. So they go in with these blocky little things and they get it set like this. And then they send another team of devs in to replace all of the chunky assets with the finalized ones. And so, the people that designed the levels can do it quickly with just these block meshes very quickly to lay things out. And then they can move on to the next level and keep working their way through the game while another team comes in and swaps these things out to make it run better. And look right. So I think that's super cool. I mean, it's a very iterative process. These games are not put together in their final state in like one step. It's like they basically go through once, build the game in a very blocky, chunky way, and then they go back through, replace all the assets, and then they go back through, replace animations, and like fine tune some of the interactions and stuff, and then particle effects go in. Like the only things that are usually really finalized are mechanics. And like actual movements of characters, stuff like that. Because that's all done in prototype phases. Like the horse movement, gunplay, that type of stuff is done kind of first before they move on to actually building out the game. And then level design happens like this. It's just fascinating to me. I love it. But like, imagine if this leaked, people would be like, oh, well, the next Last of Us game looks terrible. And we know how it ended up. We know it ended up being, to this day, one of the most graphically impressive games ever. And also one of the most just impressive games on a technical level in terms of gameplay, everything. Just technically, it was one of the most impressive games that's ever launched. And like, this is how it starts. So just never believe it when people come in and are like, well, this leaked, and so we know this, this, and this. It's like, no, dude. It's like those GTA 6 leaks. Those GTA 6 leaks that came out that were real, they were confirmed to be real. Those things were pretty clearly early on. And they still looked pretty good. So just imagine what like the final version is going to look like. I can't even imagine it. It's going to be insane. However it looks, it will be crazy. And in terms of gameplay, it's going to be ridiculous. Oh man, I'm here for it. In Star Citizen, the devs go through white box, basically a basic layout, gray box, which is the full intent, and then final. Yeah, I think that's how it works for most studios. When do you think it'll be announced? The current consensus with most analysts is if it's not announced in early November, it won't be announced until next year. Because they have a conference call, an earnings call, kind of to wrap up the quarter. That is on, I believe, November 8th. And so the only reason we're saying that is because if they're going to announce it, they'll announce it at, like, say, the 5th or the 3rd or whatever it is, and dominate all the headlines. And then they come in with the earnings call on the 8th, and they're like, hey, I think it makes sense that they probably take a week. So they probably, if they're going to announce it this year, it'll be on November 1st. That's my prediction, if it's going to happen. Because then they can be like, in the first week that GTA 6 has been announced, we have seen these stats. We have this many views on the trailer. We have this many people signing up for updates. We have this, and they can run through all the stats to make investors super excited for the game. If they don't do that on the 1st, I think we don't see it until probably February, March. That'd be my expectation. But I have a good feeling November 1st, if it's going to happen at all. But I have no information. I have no idea. We're just going off of the fact that Rockstar, so far as I'm aware, they've never announced a game and released it in the same year. It's not to say they can't do it, but we know that GTA 6 is launching next year. And so they've only ever announced games at least a year before they come out. Usually it's like 2 years, but at the very least, a year. So the last real opportunity for them to reasonably do it this year is early November. And you're right. They normally announce things October, November. And so I think it just makes sense. Just November 1st. I don't know what day of the week that is. It's a Wednesday. Yeah. If their earnings call is on the 8th, I think the 1st makes sense. Because my guess is that the only reason that they'd announce it before this conference call is to brag about how well the announcement went. And it makes sense to take a full week and be like, in the first week of it being out in the world, this is the information we have. So it just lines up. It just lines up. I guess clip this, Jacob. We'll put it up. This will be my thing. We'll see. I predicted the Activision, or rather the ZeniMax acquisition. Maybe I'll be right about this one too. We'll see. At least you have reasonable speculation. It's hilarious the garbage people make up claiming it's today. Yeah, where it's just somebody saying it. It's saying it. And it's like, it's always so funny to me because it's like verified journalists who have a proven track record of accurate reporting have not said anything. And you better believe if they had any murmurs or had heard anything about it happening, they'd be reporting it. So what do you think is more likely? That this person on Twitter with 1,100 followers that has an account that's a week old, do you think they have the secret information, or are they just making it up? I think it's more likely they're just making it up. Call me crazy. Yeah, Legacy Kill has been clowning on those people on Twitter, and it's been cracking me up. Yeah, well, because it's the most... It is the laziest, most brain dead content where it's just people making stuff up And they have this built-in excuse of, well, Rockstar's just trying to like kind of troll us. Totally. And so it's like, wait, you said full confidence. Like a lot of these people said, I have sources confirming October 26th is when they're going to release the trailer for GTA 6. This is what it looks like. It opens with an alligator opening its mouth, and they go through this whole thing. And that was not true. They lied about it. They lied. But then they come back and they're like, actually, that was true, but Rockstar changed the date at the last second, and also the trailer may look different than the one I was told about. So there will be no way of telling if I'm telling the truth now or if I was making it up from the start. But people still like follow these people, listen to them, hype them up. Like, it's crazy to me. It's so dead. Brain dead. But anyway, yeah, that's the whole thing. It's 10-year-olds. Trust me, bro. Yeah, it's Twitter. I'm actually very close to just deleting Twitter off of my phone because I just get nothing from it. I used to, like back before Musk bought it, I actually would go to Twitter for a lot of news because there was always trending news that was like happening in the instant of whatever was occurring. X. And it was super reliable and easy to follow. But now it's like there's very little useful on the site. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of console fanboyism. That's what I've been dealing with mostly. So I'm like, I can do all of this stuff on the computer. I'll just delete it off. Twitter just makes me mad. It's basically a filter to pay for a check or you don't see the content. Yeah, that's part. Like, I have no problem with paying money for a service that I think I'm getting. So if X delivers a quality product, I have no problem paying for it. In the same way with like YouTube, I love YouTube's product. So I will pay 10, 15 bucks a month, whatever YouTube Premium is, to not have to sit through the ads, which is another way of paying for the service. You're just paying with your time instead of your money. So I have no problem with paying for X if that's what I have to do to use it and get something out of it. But I personally am just feeling like I'm not getting anything out of it. Whatever YouTube Premium is. First world problems. Yeah. Well, I've been subscribed to YouTube Premium for so long that it's just on auto pay and I have no idea what. I know they've risen the price, but it's like 15 bucks now, I think. Granted, it's a first world problem. I will fully acknowledge that. No doubt. No doubt. Okay, is there anything else for us to touch on? Oh, should we watch a video that I think just got really outdated? Hold on. This is actually Level Cap Gaming. This is a Star Citizen guy. So I don't think this is actually going to be as funny as I was hoping for. But the video is titled, "Is Star Citizen Becoming Outdated?" And the thumbnail is a picture of Star Citizen next to Starfield. And we know how Starfield ended up. So is it outdated? Like, let's see. Sean, thank you so much for the 20. No YouTube ads. Boom. Thank you, my friend. That's very generous.
Star Citizen released its procedural city planet tech back in 2019. The visuals and capabilities were simply unmatched. Nothing in a game had even come close to the fidelity and scale that was being shown off. However, it's 4 years later and a lot of other games are starting to catch up. Perhaps not being able to directly rival Star Citizen's scale, but certainly from a visual standpoint, lighting, texturing, rendering has all seen massive improvements in other engines, and that tech is even becoming widely available to indie developers at low cost. But
I know he's probably using Starfield footage because let's be real, it's because it's a space sim game. Well, it's trying to be a space sim game, but it's not a very good one. But if he showed like Cyberpunk 2077, yeah, it would be like not even close. because that game just is insane.
By the time Star Citizen ships, will its visuals and technology already be outdated, or are there key components that'll allow them to bring the visuals up to modern gaming standards? Let's explore this predicament. Now, the Star Citizen game engine is based on the Amazon-owned Lumberyard engine, which is based on the Cry engine, you know, the one used for Crysis. In fact, Star Citizen was originally developed on the older Cry engine and then swapped over to Lumberyard to better integrate with Amazon Web Services and cloud computing tech. And the devs have done what can only be described as monumental work to their engine, injecting advanced netcode for multi-crew spaceships, zero-G physics and flight, procedural planet tech for nearly life-size planets that don't require loading screens, and they're currently in the process of updating the render engine to take advantage of the Vulkan Graphics API. Without a doubt, the engine's capabilities have shifted massively to the point where the unofficial name is now basically the Star Engine. However,
do they still have to pay royalties to Amazon? That would be... I mean, it's at this point, it's like the ship of Theseus. They've swapped out so many pieces and it's so different from what it used to be. It probably doesn't even really resemble the Lumberyard engine that they built it off of, but it still kind of is the Lumberyard. So like, at what point does it become its own thing? I'm sure they still have to pay license. I mean, there's no way they get out of that from Amazon. There's no way. Amazon is like something else when it comes to contracts and stuff. Before they showed the engine demo during CitizenCon, Chris Roberts directly addressed the fears of it possibly becoming obsolete. I believe it. They don't pay Amazon as far as we know. Well, a lot of the time it's based off of like revenue shares or copies of units sold. You have to pay a percentage. It depends on the licensing agreement, but because the game hasn't officially launched, maybe they get out of that. I don't know. I still don't know what you even do in Star Citizen as a single player. It looks incredible, but if you play now, what do you even do? Herobrine can describe in detail a lot of the different things, but like whatever you want your career to be or however you want to approach it. If you want to go mine planets, you can mine planets. If you want to race spaceships, you can race spaceships. If you want to go and be like a space pirate, you can do that. If you want to haul cargo and just be a cargo transport operator, you can do that. Buy a big ass ship and just transport cargo across the solar system. You can do that. Like there's all sorts of different play styles. You can go and be basically a mercenary. You can go and be a medical rescue specialist. So when people go onto missions, like maybe they're doing the mercenary thing. They try to go take down pirates that have taken over a spaceship and they get wounded and are down. Then you can play as a medical, like emergency tech. And then your job is just to listen for distress calls in the galaxy and go help people when they get downed and go find them and res them. Like there's all sorts of crazy, crazy things that you can do. It's wild. Yeah, it sounds like how Todd described Starfield. Yeah, but it actually is there.
However, keeping Star Citizen's visuals competitive with new engine tech from Unreal and Unity seems like it could be a losing battle. When juggernauts like Epic Games have teams of hundreds and hundreds of developers constantly working to just simply make Unreal Engine as advanced as it possibly can be, it seems like it might be impossible for CIG to keep up. That said, there is a silver lining. However, it does require sort of a basic defining of the difference between engine tech and artwork. These terms are thrown around very loosely and often clumped together when we talk about video game graphics. For example, the latest Zelda game has incredible artwork and visuals, but it doesn't really have what I would call impressive graphics. Some games use incredible artistry to make up for limitations in rendering power, aka
That's why you have to be really precise. Like it's a difference between fidelity and artwork, fidelity and graphics. Like when you talk about fidelity, games with impressive fidelity or levels of fidelity, you're talking about like Alan Wake 2. You're talking about Cyberpunk 2077 with the 2.0 update. Stuff like that has insane fidelity. But the matter of artwork and art direction, that's a whole nother matter.
graphics. Zelda isn't high frame rate, it's not high resolution, it doesn't have high res textures, advanced lighting, or complex materials, but it's still a great looking game due to fantastic artistic direction and working within the limits of the hardware that they had available. Stylized games like this have an advantage where they might be able to age more gracefully compared to something that's aiming to be much more realistic, such as Star Citizen. Luckily, one of Star Citizen's major focal points of its development, energy, and effort is on its spaceships. With well over 100 different ships and vehicles currently flyable and drivable, players spend a lot of their time picking the ship that they want to use and taking them out into the verse to perform various tasks. And these ships have been modeled with incredible fidelity, some of the bigger ones taking years to complete. Smooth curves, clean seams, amazing design language,
I'm still very thankful. Somebody, forgive me, I forgot who. Somebody sent me a bunch of in-game currency for Star Citizen before the 3.1 update, 3.18 update. And they sent me enough money to buy this space yacht. The thing's insane. Like, it has a swimming pool inside of it. It's ridiculous. It's like straight up stupid.
Physically based material systems, awesome and complex animations, they could be used in Hollywood level movie scenes. I mean, they kind of are if you count some of the trailer cinematics that we've seen so far. And this is an important thing to point out because it means the ships in Star Citizen likely won't require visual updates for quite some time, if ever. Aside from some of the functional reworks that some ships have gone through, if the design of the ship is where they want it to be, then the models and textures can be the foundation for seemingly endless upgrades to the underlying engine tech. And the same goes for the in-game armor, weapons, wearables, and even a lot of the cityscape environments. If you're in-game, spend some time looking at these assets in detail. When I did a deep dive on the weapons in Star Citizen, I was kind of blown away by the fact that even the bullets are modeled out and are physically fired from inside the gun's barrel. It's wild stuff that I simply don't expect from most games, let alone one of this scale. But because everything in Star Citizen is made with such high fidelity, it kind of future-proofs the game to a certain extent.
But it also makes it run like absolute garbage on most hardware. So that's the other thing to consider. I mean, I guess if most of this is just going to be, is it going to be outdated? It's like, and the answer is probably not, because it's being made with that in mind. Like, okay, it's not as funny a video as I was hoping for. I was hoping for them to be like, look, Starfield looks to be this amazing and do all of this stuff. How is Starfield or Star Citizen going to keep up? And then we saw Starfield and what they delivered. And then we've seen all these demos for the Star Engine and what they're bringing next year in Q1. You know, it's crazy. Let's see, Luke, they do a 1-year delayed financial reports due to UK laws, and they only mentioned some money paid to Crytek due to some stuff from the past. It was a final payment though. Oh, interesting. So maybe they just paid it out and they figured it out. Okay. Maybe they initially licensed the engine with the understanding that they were going to alter it so severely. So they paid for like some specialized license that has a smaller like one-time fee or lump sum fee that's not ongoing that they can use to build off of or something. I don't know. That's interesting though. All this detail is unnecessary though. Most people can't run it. Or most people can't run it, and it spent so much time in dev. Do people still care? Not gamers, but the average person. I don't know about the average person. I would say that they're not targeting the average person to play this or get it. They are still raking in money. I mean, they're raking in over $1 million a day. Robert Space Industries. Like, look at this. So on the 22nd, they raised 1.6 million. The day before they raised 1.1 million. And now we're back to kind of the regular level, which is still over $480,000 a day. And this money comes in from like Pledge Store maybe. This comes in from people like buying ships or buying the starter pack for the game. This is actually the like real starter pack. This is the cheapest way to get into the game. $45, you can start playing now, you get this ship. Super easy. But if you want to go a little higher level, get the bigger ship, you can do that. You can work your way in game to earn these ships, but there's that. Or some people go and they'll buy like huge ships or different skins and paint jobs for it. Like it's very, very heavily monetized without a doubt. And it's the thing I personally don't like. Like look at over $400 ships. There are some of these ships that are hundreds of dollars, like $800. Where's the big one? The Hammerhead is crazy. Herobrine, do you know how much the Hammerhead is? I don't think they're going to list the price. I don't see it. Do you remember? Ships are anywhere from like $50 to like $800, or like I think they have a couple that are in the like 1,000+ range. We'll see what Herobrine says. Like it's crazy, but some people will play this and like this is their hobby. It's like I've said before, for some people gaming's their hobby. For some of these Star Citizen players, Star Citizen is their hobby. Like there's not another game they play. This is everything. This is where all of the money goes in. The Javelin ship is about 2.5K. Jesus, dude. 2.5K for an in-game spaceship. The Kraken is going to be like the biggest one, I think. This is like an aircraft carrier. It's still in concept, though. You can't actually play with it. They're still working on it. But like, look, this is one ship that a player can buy. But ships like this big, this is something that usually people who play in groups will pitch in together and buy. And then they'll all play the game together, running this ship together. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Spec Ops. Oh, man. Thank you. That's very generous. Thank you for the 50. My goodness. For the kiddos insurance fund. Thank you. We'll need it. Jesus. Being covered by the VA can be annoying but nice when you have no bills. We still pay $9.49 a month with the wife's plan, which covers her and the 3 kids, but that's what you get for working with the startup. Oh yeah, I believe it. I mean, and part of the reason we pay so much is because like I don't have a real job, so it's me. Like if my employer pays for half my insurance, I'm my employer, so I still pay the full amount. We'll see. Maybe eventually Nikki will go, and she's talked about wanting to go back to work and do some other stuff eventually. So when she goes back to work, maybe she'll find an insurance plan that's really good and we'll save money there. But yeah, it's just crazy. There's just no good solution to it. Like either you pay out the ass for paying out of pocket for stuff, or like you pay for insurance and deal with the headaches associated with it and save money. But it's just one big headache because their whole business is built on paying for as little as they possibly can. So yeah, it's crazy. But thank you, Spec Ops. Again, $50 is really, really generous. And feel free to reach out if you ever want to catch up. I know you were dealing with some stuff, so hope all is well. Let's see. The Capital class ships aren't available yet due to the fact they need major game loop additions and technology to support them. Man. Pretty all right. Here's my referral code. Gives you 5K extra starting cash. Ooh, baby. Yeah, go help Herobrine out. These expensive ships can only be bought with money, real currency, or can you grind in game? My understanding is you can grind in game. It's just going to take you and probably your team a long time. Like, I don't think you'd ever be able to buy this just by yourself grinding in game. It would be so freaking expensive. It would take you like years of grinding. But with like 10 people, like a whole crew of people that you would then be bringing in to run this ship for you. See, max crew 10. So like if you have 10 friends that you play with and you all kind of pool your money together, that could work. Let's see. You just wait till Intergalactic Aerospace Expo this November. Last year was insanely profitable. Oh, I believe it. 99% of ships can be acquired in game without spending more than the initial price to get into the game. Yeah. Yeah. Abstract, good to see you. Yeah, it's crazy, man. There's so much to it. The game is freaking massive and they're still working on it. We'll see how it evolves over time. I just hope that they can get to the point where they actually can deliver a semi-finished product. Releasing Squadron 42 will help a lot with that. I think people will be like, okay, it's real. There's an actual game here. And right now there is a game, but the messaging is really messy. Like, a lot of people don't realize that you can still play the game. They just hear the headlines, oh, they've ordered or they've raised $600+ million and the game isn't out yet. And they think that it's still like in development and you can't touch it. But no, like, if you buy one of these ships, you're crazy because it's like $1,000 for one of these big ships. But you can play with it now. Like, you can actually play with it in the game now. Does the game run super well? No, it's not very well optimized at all. That's one of the last things they tend to do in development of a game. So it doesn't run that well. But there's still a lot to do and there's a lot of fun to be had. And that's why some people, it's like their whole hobby. It's crazy. Or they think it actually cost $600 million to make it. Yeah. And again, it's just mostly messaging. Like, people don't understand that they're making two games. They're making the single player and they're making the persistent universe tech at the same time while building a basically brand new engine to do it. Like, people, the marketing has just been all over the place, but it's largely because they just haven't needed to do much marketing because they aren't selling the game yet, you know? How you doing? I'm doing good, Smeltic. Good to see you. I wish Star Citizen or the campaign game was on next-gen consoles. Maybe eventually they can get there, but there's no way the PS5 or Series X could run Star Citizen as it is. There's just no way. Yeah. Did Alan Wake 2 run a little off for you, bro? Native 4K is really interesting, like 43 to 50 FPS, no ray tracing. In some parts, I also ran into a bug immediately while recording the video that will go up early next week. Let me see, OBS recordings. What's this at? 1025, 1026. I think this is it. Let me just show you this. Yeah, like, look at this. Let me share the screen. I realized I loaded in to a save 3 minutes into the game. 3 minutes, just past the prologue. And I'm playing this, and I noticed, wait, this area, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I don't think I'm supposed to be here. And I ran over here, and watch. It broke and loaded me into an area of the game you don't get to until much later, past this tree that you're not able to get past at this point in the game. So, like, this was a hard lock. I caught it on camera while filming this video. It's just a straight up hard lock. Like, there's nothing you can do at this point in the game. You can't pull up your map even. You can't do anything. It's just, instead of loading me in next to my car, it loaded me in the middle of an empty lake where there's nothing to do. And like, yeah, this area you're not supposed to be in. And so it's like straight up bugged. But then again, you know, I still had people coming into the podcast yesterday saying that I was faking these technical issues for attention, I guess. Like, okay, dude. Like, yeah, I get so much out of faking this. Like, what are we talking about? What are you doing? I haven't tried it today. I don't know if the Alan Wake 2 bug has been fixed. I will probably try that after we finish streaming. I'll see if it's fixed. Hopefully it is, but I have not tried it today yet. Yeah, I got to upgrade my 4090. Yeah. Luke, you and my brother break games more often than I've seen. Unlucky, but I've seen it firsthand. Yeah, it's funny. Some people have the magic touch. I go through waves where, like, sometimes I have zero problems while other people are experiencing it. It's part of the struggle with having a very powerful PC, is if people are like, oh, it's not well optimized. And I'm like, I didn't have any problems, but it's because there's so much extra power in this thing for most games that I wasn't going to see any issues unless, like, I intentionally handicap myself or ran it at twice the resolution or something. So that can sometimes be a thing that kind of covers up optimization issues for me. But in this case, like 2 games in a row with Spider-Man, I ran into all sorts of bugs, and like game crashes and stuff that I showed in that review. And then with Alan Wake 2, I've had just a really hard time with the game from start to finish. It's crazy on PS5 and on PC. Constant issues. It's crazy. Please check in on PS5, playing it now, wondering if I should dig deep into it yet. What I heard from somebody yesterday who responded to my review was that they were saying it was fixed, but only on new saves. So fixed on saves newer than the one I was playing with. So they said it was fixed. They said that this is fixed, but I might still be screwed because I might have to start over to get past it. So I don't know. Spider-Man 2 had a great narrative, don't you think? I think it was really predictable, personally. Like, the moment I saw the particle accelerator, I knew how the game was going to end, like, instantly. It's like, that is such a weird thing to have in the middle of, like, a charity organization in the middle of downtown Manhattan. Like, that's ridiculous. So I immediately knew how the game was going to end without spoiling or anything. But, yeah, it's... a lot of like superhero stories are pretty predictable. No Lords of the Fallen. I just haven't dug into it yet because I heard there were a lot of optimization issues, but I'll probably eventually get into it. Did you see Rocksteady added the Robert Pattinson Batsuit to Arkham Knight? Yeah. And then they immediately took it off. I don't know if you saw that part. It was up for a few hours and then they immediately took it off. So you can't get it now. It seems like it's probably going to be sold as like a little DLC alongside the Switch port that's coming on the 1st of December. So we'll see. Spider-Man 2 dialogue with the sign language girl was cringe. I didn't think it was that cringe, honestly. Like, I don't have a problem with them trying to be more inclusive in that way. Like, believe it or not, there are deaf people, and they do speak through sign language. And for them to see somebody in a video game like them, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's cool, you know? Now, don't get me wrong. There were some really cringe parts in Spider-Man 2. There were a lot of cringe moments. But yeah, I didn't mind that personally. I totally agree, Yo Flippin'. If they don't go dark and gritty, if they are not going for an M rating on Wolverine, I don't know what they're doing. They need to do that. They had a couple of dark moments, no spoilers. But shocker, Venom can be a little intense. And they had a couple of pretty intense moments in Spider-Man 2. Nothing like gory or anything that you see, but more directed violence than I think they've done before. Yeah. As he should be. Yeah, exactly. So, we'll see. Luke, question about Spider-Man. If you didn't play Miles Morales from 2018 to Spider-Man 2, you said it feels like a greater jump. That being said, should I skip Miles and go straight into Spider-Man 2? I think if you skipped Miles, like skipped playing Miles, Spider-Man 2 would feel like a much more epic sequel because it's so much different. I mean, it's like a whole new characters added. There's so much stuff, right? You should still definitely watch a story recap of Miles Morales. You should watch like one of those 15-minute story recaps that goes through everything that happens because they do tie into it a lot. I mean, there's many mentions of things that went on during the Miles Morales expansion or spinoff. So I would still watch the recap, but I think you'd enjoy Spider-Man 2 probably more if you just jumped straight to that. But yeah, and then you could go back and do Miles Morales during Christmas because it is a holiday-centered game. It's very snowy and thematically it works like that. But it's really up to you. I mean, of course, the developers, I think, intend for you to play 2018 Miles Morales and then this. But like if you go straight to Spider-Man 2, I think it'll feel more epic and crazy. But it's because you're missing out on the stepping stone. You know, it'd be like going from like Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 4. It's going to feel like a bigger leap. Better, right? Like it'll feel like a much bigger leap over going from Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 4, but you're missing out on a game. So it's just up to you. Yeah, Hidden One, I did see that. I wouldn't take that with I or I wouldn't put much weight on that, because pretty much every game they've released over the last 15 years has had that additional content coming soon. And usually that just means that like they're going to release a new commercial for it. Like it doesn't actually mean more gameplay. So I wouldn't expect them to do anything else with it. Do you need to play Alan Wake 1 or Control prior to playing? No, like you can watch a story recap. I don't think you need to play the first one. Control, there's like a couple of things that they reference from Control where you'll be like, oh, that's the thing. But a story recap is fine. And the game's writer, Sam Lake, maybe, he did a story synopsis, like Alan Wake, the story so far. It's like 15 minutes long on IGN. Just look that up and watch that, and I think you'll be good. Who do you think will be the big bad in Wolverine if you had to make a guess? I honestly don't know the like lore and world of Wolverine well enough to make an intelligent statement. I'm honestly not sure. I have no idea. Sabretooth, it's the layup. Do they try to throw like 5 villains in at once, or do they approach it like 2018 Spider-Man? Probably 2018, right? Start simple, lay the foundation. The other thing is that this Wolverine game is being made by the Miles Morales team. It's not the Spider-Man 2 team. I mean, I'm sure a lot of those guys will go help with Wolverine now that they finished Spider-Man 2, but yeah, I would guess that they probably... It's going to be interesting. I think. Irox, gotta head out. Sounds good. Sounds good, my friend. Appreciate you. Yeah. All I need is Logan's flesh getting torn apart in real time and regenerating. Yeah, if they can do something like that, man. Oh. Like, what I would love to see is like a freaking Last of Us Part 2 level gore system with a Wolverine game. Can you imagine? I mean, just straight up limbs getting hucked off. Like, oh man. I'd lose it. Do they go that far? I don't know. That would be surprising to me if they went that intense, just because it's Insomniac. But then again, people would have said the same thing about Naughty Dog back in the way. They're like, the guys that made Crash Bandicoot are gonna come in and make The Last of Us an alien or a zombie survival series with insane gore. Okay, dude. Like, who knows? We'll see. Ain't no evidence Wolverine would be good. Yeah, as of right now, we just don't know much other than Insomniac is a capable studio. We'll see how it actually pans out. But I think for Wolverine, tone is going to be crucial. And if they go like T for teen, no gore, no blood, for me, that's going to be a huge disappointment. Because I would like more of a Logan approach to Wolverine than like Teen Titans. You know, that's my personal preference. So, I mean, but that's going to be seen in the first trailer. The first time we see a gameplay trailer or anything that gives us more info, we'll know very quickly if they are going Logan route or Teen Titans route, you know? Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake in-engine trailer, Luke. Yeah, I have zero confidence in anything Konami touches. So if it ends up being good, I'll be very surprised and very happy for all of those fans. But at this point, I would give them zero credit because they have not earned any respect in the last decade. So I would not give Konami even a smidgen of extra, like, give them the benefit of the doubt. No, like, stop it. Get some help. I think they're going for that because that's what Wolverine has become synonymous with, and they haven't gotten to make an M-rated game. So I bet they want to go super violent. That's my hope. I know I sound like a psychopath saying this, but like that's what I'm interested in. Is the dark, gritty side of Wolverine, not the cartoony comic book Well, I guess it depends on which comic book, but like I don't like the light cartoony stuff. I'm kind of burnt out on it now. So I hope they go dark and gritty. My ear is weirdly itchy. Edge Runners, is that what you're talking about, Unknown Exo? That's intense. I started watching that with Nikki on the couch because we're like, oh, we both like Cyberpunk. We turned it on when it first came out. And like, if you haven't seen it, like right off the bat, they have like full nudity, crazy violence, all this stuff. And I was like, oh. I was like, it's 10 a.m. on a Sunday. I think we gotta like wait for the evening to watch this. This is intense. Like, wow. It's crazy. But yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Let's see. So it's The Boys. Yeah. You should have been in church, Luke. Exactly. I'm over here like a sinner watching an anime. Ugh. On the day of rest. How dare I? Anyone else excited for Death Stranding 2? The first one is just so wild and unique. It's really unique and wild. I will give you that. It's very quirky and weird. I hope that Konami takes a chill pill and calms down on the crazy monologues, personally. Like, most of those scenes, everything Konami says, or Kojima. Did I say Kojima before? I meant Kojima. I hope Kojima takes a chill pill because most of those big monologues that are like 20 minutes long in Death Stranding could have been done in 30 seconds. There's so many scenes that are just too verbose. Like, it's crazy. I mentioned it many, many times before, but my old theater professor who did a playwriting class that I took, he had something to say where he was just like, I'm going to probably butcher it, but it was basically that amateur writers, so noobs, write a lot, but expert writers write enough. And that's a huge thing that I feel Kojima just totally does not grasp. Like, he will just write a lot when all he needs to do is write like a line or two to communicate enough. Leave that little question. It's like, it's the difference in how Neil Druckmann wrote the end of The Last of Us versus how Kojima would have written it. Neil Druckmann says, Ellie says, I need you to swear to me that, you're telling the truth about what happened in Utah with the Fireflies. And Joel goes, I swear. And Ellie, last line of the whole game, says, okay. And that's the end of the game. They leave it all up to you to figure out what actually is meant by that. Did she believe him? Did she not? What does that mean for their relationship? That she knows he's lying to her? Is she just going to accept it? Like, all of these questions come in, but that's how he leaves you, to ponder it. Kojima would have come in and had a 6-page monologue where Ellie just starts pacing and it's like, oh, but what through the light through yonder breaks could be the thing of which Joel, betraying me, would have said and done. Plus the time fall. With Die Hard Man breaking in my heart. And like, you'd be like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, it wouldn't have made any sense at all. And you would have checked out because it doesn't make any damn sense. Yeah, with flashbacks, flash sideways. Yeah. Like, Neil Druckmann wrote The Last of Us. Neil Druckmann is like the lead writer on all of this. Like, Neil Druckmann is a very talented writer. Very talented writer. It's why these Naughty Dog games have changed so much since he's taken over. Because he's basically a writer first. Well, he started as a programmer, but he wrote a bunch of comics and stuff, and then he brought that talent set to the team at Naughty Dog. He started writing some stuff and bringing his narrative approach to game design, and it's totally changed how they do things. Is Kojima the Shakespeare of gaming? He's like the drunk high Shakespeare that won't shut up at the party. Yeah. Where everybody's like, we get it, you can write. It's like, shut up, sit down. You just won't stop. let's see. The lighting while you just did that Shakespeare bit was literally perfect spotlighting you. I hope that was intentional. Oh yeah, I mean, why else would I have the spotlight? It's for my random walk-offs. Isn't that a good thing sometimes? What, writing a lot? Or having way too much? Oh, I think I missed something. I've never really been a fan of Kojima's games. The writing thing definitely got to his head. Kojima or Neil? The pronouns are throwing me off. I need the names. Because we're talking about two different dudes. I can't keep track of it. That's his forsooth spotlight. Yeah, exactly. It totally is. Oh man, I'm really I mean, if the rumors are true and if they actually are working on A Last of Us Part 3, that to me is going to be the biggest question mark in Naughty Dog history, because I feel like The Last of Us, and Neil has said this before, The Last of Us is about Ellie and Joel. Now that those stories are kind of at an end, what do they do? Like, I know there's what I thought was interesting is if they did like a story of Joel and Tommy in the years between Sarah's death and ending up in Pittsburgh. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff they could do there. But I don't know if that's what they're actually going to do. I don't know if they're going to swap and try to tell the story of Abby and oh my God. Lev. Is that right? Lev? I think that's right. I wanted to say Leb. That's the nickname for one of my friends who goes by Caleb. He goes by Leb. It's weird. Rocky, you'll be very, very happy. Because of that policy change on Twitch, because they're allowing co-streaming, starting next week, we're going to just co-stream on Twitch. So we'll be here on YouTube and on Twitch, which will be fun. We're back. Yeah. They finally made one good change at Twitch. Like, they didn't screw something up. Yay. Watch as we co-stream, and day one, they they banned the account. Like, actually, we changed our mind. No co-streaming. Or they don't even tell me why they banned me, but it's because some person at the office forgot or didn't hear that they changed the policy, and because their management's so terrible, that's how they do it. Also, how's Mirage? Mirage is pretty good. It's like a 7-8 out of 10. It's good enough. I think it's what AC fans were looking for, but it's not like a masterpiece or anything. Let's see. Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about lolcows. Yeah. I was legit been under a rock. What does legit under a rock mean? You've been in a cave? Is it a Starfield 7? Probably not. I mean, like, Starfield for fans of Bethesda games, I think is probably, for most of them, like an 8, as it is now. Starfield for like the average gamer, I would say is probably more of a 7. Assassin's Creed Mirage for the average gamer is probably like a 7, maybe even like, yeah, probably 7. But for AC fans, specifically old school AC fans, it's like an 8 to 8.5. It's all about perspective. Do you think Avatar will be delayed? Luke, Skull and Bones, and Star Wars already have been. I have a gut feeling. I have a gut feeling that they're not gonna delay it. That's my gut feeling. I know Joe Raptor, I think, is saying that he has a feeling it will be delayed. But Joe Raptor, apparently, I don't know if you guys saw this morning. Joe Raptor, our one and only, he's played Frontiers of Pandora. So he's played it. And he posted this morning. So yesterday when he was on the podcast saying he thinks it might be delayed, he was saying that after having played it. So my question is, was it rough? And this, I don't know. I mean, I haven't talked to Joe Raptor about this. I don't know. But My question is it rough? So Luke, my copy of Mirage. Yeah, DM me on Discord. I'll hook you up. We said we were going to do it. And then you were under a rock and I couldn't get it to you. Yeah, that's where I don't know. Or maybe he's just like, no, I just think that they delay everything. Maybe they'll delay it. I don't know. But he said he's going to post his impressions soon. So we'll see. But I thought that was really interesting. When can we expect your Baldur's Gate 3 critique? I'm going to try really hard to get it out by the end of the year. I'm hoping I can get Starfield's thing done in November, and then Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be my December project. That's my goal right now. Starfield's a 6. I thought you were harsh at the time, but you probably would have gotten torn apart if you'd gone in like that IGN guy who gave it a 7. Yeah, well, it's why I said, like, I think it's pretty good. Like, I think if Phantom Liberty had come out before it, I probably would have been more inclined to give it a 7, because that made it so much clearer how outdated all of Bethesda's tools are. Like, it's not even close. Cyberpunk 2077 versus Starfield, it's not even close. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think if the way that Starfield released in the time period it did helped it a lot, because again, if it had been framed close to something else that made it look outdated, it would have hurt it. But at the time, I still stand by what I said. I think it's a pretty good game, especially for Bethesda fans, but some of those design decisions are just bafflingly stupid. And I know some people don't care about things like no vehicles. Some people don't care about like the 3-4 minutes of walking between points of interest on planets. Some people don't care about the four maximum landing zones on a planet that you select. Like, I get it. For some people, they don't care about that stuff, but for me, it really tears me out of any sense of immersion, I feel. And it's just frankly not on par with what other companies are doing right now. And that's a problem. I mean, if we talk, this year has been a lot about raising the bar and raising the standard. That was the whole thing with Baldur's Gate 3, where it comes out, it's amazing, and immediately devs are like, oh, don't get used to it. This is pretty amazing and exceptional, but don't get used to it. And it's just like, if we can't raise the bar when other games come along and do things way better, what are we doing? We're just going to stay back here like years behind of the technological curve? Like, no, we should raise the bar, raise expectations. If that means games take longer to get made, oh well, it just is what it is. But when I see that every other open world game for the last like generation and a half of consoles have allowed seamless load screens, I don't know what the hell Bethesda's doing when every doorway seems to have a load screen locking it away. You know? Yeah, seeing something like Cyberpunk 2077 or even Hogwarts Legacy and then jumping into Starfield is just tough. Real tough. Well, yeah, it's Hogwarts Legacy is a great example too, because like you're talking about the whole castle of Hogwarts and then also being able to freely explore the lands around it without any load screens. And it's great. It allows you to stay immersed in the world and just keep going. And I understand Starfield was trying to do something really epic and crazy with all these planets and things. And honestly, if they had like the Star Wars planet jump thing, they kind of have that with like the light tearing and splitting open with the ship going through it once it does the jump into hyperspace. If they did that and then like a quick load screen to travel between planets, okay, I'm not going to throw a fit about that. It's the constant load screens going into buildings, going from like one room in a building to another room in a building, entering a cave, like all these random little things that require load screens drive me crazy. In a Starfield chase quest, there were 6+ loading screens. I believe it. I'm actually surprised it wasn't more, honestly. Todd needs to retire. I think it's more that it's just and Todd said it at the time. He said, we didn't push for like seamless transitions from surface to space. We didn't push for that stuff because we don't think it's important to the player experience, specifically their players. And I think he's right. Clearly, Bethesda fans don't care, which is why they keep doing it. Like, they will keep doing this forever until their fans make it clear that they want more. Because they have a captive audience right now that will buy whatever they put out no matter what. They'll play it no matter what. Whereas like Ubisoft, if Ubisoft released Starfield, I think people would be tearing it a new one. People are like, oh, Ubisoft being lazy again, which is why they have to rise to the occasion, and they have to do something with Star Wars Outlaws with just seamless, instantaneous travel between planets, surface to space, no load screens. That's how they remain competitive, is by pushing the boundary there. Whereas Starfield, they don't have to be competitive in that way because they have this captive audience that's going to just pat them on the back no matter what they do. And it's why I can't stand the fanboys that say stuff like, oh yeah, Starfield's the game of the generation. If you think that, I am seriously concerned for you. Like, everybody in this chat is dumber having heard that statement. Our average IQ dropped so precipitously once you entered chat. We're all suffering. Before you know it, we're all going to be XQC viewers because of you. Like, that's what people do. Smalltick, thank you for hanging out with us, my friend. It's great to see you. It's sort of like WWE. They have a built-in audience that will watch no matter how bad it is. Yeah, it's the danger with no competition. You can just keep getting away with whatever you want. Phantom Liberty versus Starfield in a nutshell video by Nick Tech is hilarious. Cutting Starfield is like an ad break. Yeah. No, and that if it was a video called If Bethesda Made Starfield or made a Cyberpunk 2077, and it shows you like you leave your apartment, load screen. You go to the elevator, load screen. You hop in your car, select where you want to go, load screen. Hop out of the car, load screen. Walk in the next building, load screen. And just frankly, we're past that. It's 2023. We're past that. Like with the average length of loading screens in Starfield, they could have used those long ass animations to fake loading screens. Yeah, just something. Make it silky smooth. All games have loading systems happening all the time. Like in Spider-Man, when you zip around the city, it's loading stuff in and loading other stuff out in real time. That's a load screen technically. They just aren't stopping gameplay to do it. They do it in the background because of how fast the SSDs are. And Bethesda just has not taken the steps to add that as an ability within the creation engine because they know that their fans don't care. Or at the very least, will make excuses for them. And that's my bigger problem because everybody can see how stupid and how outdated it is when you go from Starfield to Cyberpunk. Instantaneously, you're like, oh my God, this is rough. Or Starfield to No Man's Sky or Starfield to Star Citizen or any of these other space-oriented games. And they still make excuses for it. They're still like, well, but it's a different kind of game. It has 250,000 lines of dialogue, Luke. That's what you're not mentioning. It's like, who gives a crap? It doesn't matter. Like, you're pivoting. You're pivoting to something else. This is called a dodge. I asked you a question about this thing, and you started going off in the corner and talking about something over there. It's not a counter. Literally, Spider-Man devs has to clarify the push to hold was not a hidden load screen. Bethesda, though, load screens are a part of the game, dude. Yeah, well, it's actually about pacing. It calms you down and allows you to think about where you are in the story and all this. Okay. 250K bad and boring line. Well, it's just, if you ever bring something up to somebody, like the issue with load screens, and then they immediately pivot and say, but it has 250,000 lines of dialogue. Don't tackle that first. Instead, first you go, okay, we can talk about the dialogue, but first, can you acknowledge that it has a problem with load screens, that the load screens are a problem? Can you just acknowledge that? And then we'll move on. And 99% of the time, they can't do it. They'll go, well, no, I don't think it's an issue. I just think like with their focus elsewhere, it wasn't a priority, which is another way of saying it's a problem because you're saying, yeah, it's this way because of this. I'm like, describe this way. What do you mean? Do you mean it's problematic? Do you mean it's outdated? And if they're a fanboy, they cannot admit that. And so they won't. They'll dance around, try to say anything else than it's problematic. And it gets really, really funny because it's so clear that their brain is breaking, trying so hard to come up with an excuse for it. It's just freaking hilarious. It's crazy. The good thing from this is their next game is the perfect opportunity to hit it out of the park. On the other hand, if they don't, then then they're in serious trouble. Well, their next game being Elder Scrolls 6, I think. I did a survey on the channel asking people if they were more or less excited for Elder Scrolls 6 after Starfield, and a shocking number, I think it was like 45% or something of people said that they were less excited. That's a problem for Bethesda. Every game should be better than the last one. Every game should make you more excited for what's coming next. Cyberpunk 2077, after Phantom Liberty, I am thrilled to see what they bring with the next Witcher game. I can only imagine. I am so excited for it after seeing that. Elder Scrolls 6, not that stoked. Because if all these problems just go over to Elder Scrolls 6, I mean, imagine playing a game at this point, it's going to be in like 2026, 2027, maybe even 2028, I think is what they initially said. Like, imagine a 2028 game, potentially a day one exclusive for the Xbox, whatever the next one is. And imagine if it still has these load screens like Starfield. You think it feels outdated now? Just wait. Just wait until we get some of these games from these first-party devs over at PlayStation and what some of these other devs are doing. Like, I can't go into it, but some of the stuff that Ubisoft is apparently doing and that I've heard rumblings of with Star Wars Outlaws is insane. Like, it will make Starfield look like it runs on a toaster. It's crazy. Oh, it's Mrs. Babe. It's Mrs. Babe. That's actually probably a good place to call it. I'll take the call. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging, everybody. I know this is kind of an abrupt end to this, but it's been a joy. I love you all dearly, and we'll be back Monday co-streaming here and on Twitch, and I'll look forward to that. Much love, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye.